Hello and welcome to the 4 o'clock shadow. Oh yeah.
Howdy, howdy, howdy.
A damn dirty thing. And it hasn't shown up in my mailbox yet, but maybe here soon.
Oh, yeah.
But
I actually
delivering
got to eat a
now.
nice chunk of it while I was at the doctor's office yesterday, Friday. So.
Yeah. How's your knees feeling now?
About
pretty good.
Quite a bit better. I mean, it is what it is. I don't got no cartilage left in either one of them.
Yeah, you're rubbing bone against bone, and woo.
Yeah. So they're trying to get me approved through my insurance for that like oil stuff that they squirt in there like every 6 months or so, just to give you some kind of cushion. But I gotta get it approved through my insurance, and then my doctor will call me back and let me know when to come in and get that. But right now I got the cortisone, the steroid shots in the knees, and it seems to be helping quite a bit.
Yeah. Now, by the time that 3 months rolls off, you'll be wanting another cortisone shot. That's why my mother was with cortisone shots.
I believe I will. It's just going to be, my life for the next few years. I got to try to, squeeze out 5 more years of work before I can even think about retiring. So, I mean, I guess I could go on disability or something, but I don't know what I would do then.
Lose your mind.
Like I'm not already.
Well, we had a predator fish in our draw stream last night. I had to privatize it. We did get 50 views on that, which is not too bad considering Trashcast was going and a lot of other stuff, for Saturday night.
Yeah, that's pretty good, actually.
And I don't know if this is the picture of the predator or what, or if that's just, a clip. He did move around and had his face there. He went by the name Adam Sandler, so that should have tipped me off, right? But I let him on for a couple seconds, and he brought up this after that face came up. He brought up a black guy stroking himself off.
Yes, some lewd content.
Some lewd content, so I had to privatize that, and I'll have to edit that little bit up, and just trying to get our channel struck. So I guess we made the big time.
I guess so. We're going to have to start keeping a closer eye on the chat now, too. Watch for, new names sneaking in that might seem fishy.
Eric and Boyd says, "Good grief, Charlie Brown."
Good to see you, Eric.
Yeah. Predator fish. Yeah. Bum, 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 bum. Shadow needs a fat-filled knee insulator to keep the knee from scraping bone to bone. Apex
yes.
Need some cushion in there, yeah.
Make this stuff out of the rooster combs and stuff, because that's all made out of cartilage.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
they actually like use the rooster combs and then turn it into some kind of oil or something, and then they shoot it into your joint.
Oi Savaloy, Carrie. Hello, hello.
Hi, Carrie. And hail, Cable
Gable
Penny
Penny
Shot in the
Shot. Yeah.
house.
Who in the world would want to strike you though?
Somebody with nothing better to do, I guess, Cable.
I ain't got time to figure that out. Yeah, I don't know.
Yes,
Some
Eric, I
bundle
agree.
of sticks, apparently. Yeah. RJ William in the house.
Hey,
We got to
RJ.
have you on, RJ. We got to schedule something. You know, you're launching. Come on. You know, I think the 26th, isn't it? Or am I mistaken?
Oh, but some reason that rings a bell, but I'm not sure.
How
I know you're
dear,
talking about
6480 in the
having them
house.
on.
Hello, hello. I swear people need to have hobbies and no evil trolling channels. Yeah.
I'm
Call
telling
sign
you.
Orion is
Oh,
live.
have a date.
Okay. All right. We have been playing the trailer to that.
Okay, we'll have to play the trailer for it there, RJ.
Mm-hmm. RJ's project. Yeah. RJ, you're welcome to come on and talk about it now if you wish.
Omer in the house. Hey, Omer, good.
It's all up to your schedule. Pretty sure I have that saved here somewhere. I'm just looking. I may not.
I didn't see Elsie out there yet.
Maybe I don't have that saved, RJ. So let me save it here. Just take me a second.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. RJ's got a new baby on the way, too.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, congratulations, buddy.
I did not know that. He has 12 backers over there already. $425, 7%. He's asking for $6,000. Let me bring that up and get Mr. D off the share screen.
Yeah, but I swear I've seen that face somewhere before. I don't know where.
Yeah.
But I don't think that was his. I think the dude stole somebody else's face and was just fucking with you.
He says he can come on while he paints the nursery. Okay.
Ooh.
I'm just going to draw. I know this is dangerous because we got a big predator, Mr. D, come in here and showed some lewd content last night on the draw stream, but I trust RJ, you know, and I can delete.
Yeah, well, just don't let anybody share anything that we're not, sure about. So.
Right.
So, do we get a hint, RJ? Are you painting pink, blue, or are you going to keep everyone guessing? And are you going like yellow or something? Does anybody even do the boys and girls stuff anymore? I know they still for the reveal parties.
I was misreading this in my head. I said, "Oh, congrats on the body." And I'm like, "Did he kill someone?" The baby.
He's starting a collection. You know,
Hey,
got
Omer.
his first one.
I hope you got some sleep, Omer. I did.
Yeah, glad you guys did. I still got.
What is she in labor? He says, "I'll try and get on. It's busy with the baby coming." Is she in labor streaming on the kitchen table?
No, he's painting the nursery.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and we'll find out if it's a boy or girl, right?
Oh, okay. You guys are waiting to find out. That's awesome. Yeah, we waited for.
He might not have time, you know. He might say, "Uh-oh, her water broke. I gotta go."
Well, you never know.
Welcome to the show, RJ.
Hey, fellas.
Hey, RJ. How you doing?
Hey, guy. Congratulations on your baby boy or baby girl. What do you know?
Don't know yet. Yeah, we're going to be guessing up until the big day because we want to be surprised.
That's cool. I think that's cool. But now you're not painting it blue or pink, huh?
Yeah, no, doing white and
half
green.
Blue and half pink.
Oh, okay.
It's gonna be a Green Lantern baby.
There you go. Green is my favorite color.
Yeah,
good color.
And you stencil on some 4s everywhere because 4 is his favorite number. You know.
Yep.
There you go.
You got a winner.
Put some fighter planes up. It'll be Hal Jordan.
Yeah.
Hal Jordan.
Yeah. Very cool. The only Green Lantern that counts.
I think that's
Yeah.
cool that you want to just be surprised. You know, not very many parents do that anymore.
Yeah, there's not a lot of surprises you get anymore, and why not just make it? I mean, it seems like something that'd be cool to be surprised about.
And this
Yeah.
is your first baby, huh?
First one.
Wow.
And
Prayers for RJ. His life is
it's gonna be a whole new world, RJ.
Oh
Big
yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's a
do.
lifetime investment there. I just heard from my daughter, who is like just turned 38 back in June 13th, and she was a Friday the 13th baby, and was always stabby with me. A little psycho
That's
humor.
funny.
Yeah.
She was born with a hockey mask and a butcher knife.
And I'm sorry, RJ. There's been so many different campaigns drop of late. When did you launch? I should have known you had already launched it.
I
on
launched a few
FunMyCo.
weeks ago, a couple weeks ago, I think.
Really?
but
Has
not-
it been that long? Oh God!
Yeah,
Wow, we
Damn,
should
time's
have had
up.
you on before this. Damn. Sorry
that's
about
all
that.
right. I think I've been on your channel before. I have, but
Mhm.
not so close to my launch date.
Right.
Right.
I went back and forth on when it was going to be, and then it got postponed a couple times. But yeah, we're finally up now.
Is this your first comic
Yep,
project
first one,
to
first
crowdfund?
comic, and I'm doing it with Luke Stone and Mike Barron.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
Well, you
Yeah.
can't
Okay.
ask for much better than that.
Yeah, because
So
Mike Barron edited the script.
Mike Barron doing the script and
Well,
Luke doing the artwork. Okay.
Mike Barron actually edited. I did the writing.
Okay.
And this is the first time that I'm aware that someone used him as an editor, but I figured who
Right,
better to
especially-
have it as an editor, I wanted someone experienced.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I mean, you can't, like I said, you can't get much better of an editor than Mike Barron.
right.
I wouldn't have-
Exactly.
Yeah, congratulations, bro.
I
Thank you.
apologize ahead time, but we're gonna have to chop this thing up.
It's gonna be a little choppy. Yeah?
It's gonna be a little choppy. Grab an oar. Hey, Mike. Cool. And why did you decide to go over to Fund My Comic with this?
Because it's the only place with free speech.
There you go.
Well, I mean, you picked a good time. I don't know if this matters, but just noticed yesterday that Ethan had for the very first time a campaign over there. So that's gotta draw a few more eyes over there, I would think, along with Cecil being over there. And
Yeah, I
don't know,
think
some of the
Ethan's.
bigger-
They're getting some bigger names. I think Ethan was talking about going there before. But
Yeah, he
I-
had had a problem figuring out because he's been doing Indiegogo so long. He was just having trouble getting the campaign to start on My Comic, and Ethan, being Ethan, didn't want to ask Luke for help.
uh-huh.
So I guess he finally broke down and went, "Hey, dude, can you help me get this set up or what?" Because so he finally got it out. But I guess they also had some production things that got slowed down. They were waiting on that before he launched as well. So.
Yeah, it's too bad because Luke's very helpful and he's happy to help out whenever you need help.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
and I think he can just he's just being Ethan. He just didn't want to have to ask somebody for help.
Right.
Sometimes you just gotta ask for help. That's just the way it is.
Sometimes you gotta,
I mean,
get by with a little help from my friends.
there you go.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's see.
And there ain't nothing to be ashamed of.
No. No, sir.
74 days to go. Ends on September 4th. So when do you think that this will be coming together, and how much of it is done? Is Luke still working on the artwork, or?
We're about 10% done. So it's going to be a 42-page book with 2 pages of fan art. 4
Okay.
pages are complete. They're up there on the site, and the 5th page is in progress now. So we are, with the money we've raised, we're already making new pages.
Yeah, this is your second
good.
campaign up on Fund My Comic. You had
The
this
trading
on the
card,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, you had the trading card. That's when we first had you on to talk about what Orion that was upcoming.
Yeah, it's actually my 3rd campaign because I also had a 3D miniature of the fighter planes you see, those starfighters.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no shit.
Oh yeah, I
But
saw that. That thing looked awesome.
yeah, it just wasn't popular. It wasn't selling.
Yeah.
The trading card did sell though, so I was able to raise some money ahead of time for the book.
Do you have any of the little miniatures left, RJ, or no?
I got some left, yeah.
Cool, man. Yeah, hit me up on.
Made a sale.
I'd be happy to buy one from you.
Awesome. Yeah, I think the miniatures are super cool. I was doing different kinds, like there was a glow in the dark option. I was offering to paint some for people, like I painted one myself. I actually
Oh,
painted a
nice.
few because I had to learn how to paint like the way
Mhm.
they appear in the book.
Right.
But after visiting some Warhammer shops, I was able to learn how.
Dude, those guys are crazy with that stuff. Those little, I don't know how they get all the detail they do on those tiny little things.
Oh, and they make it look so easy too,
Oh, I know. It's like you gotta have like hands of stone. You can't, I'm way too shaky. I can't paint little tiny shit.
Yeah, it's like playing Operation or something.
Mhm.
But yeah, I could definitely get you a miniature.
So
Yeah,
you
great,
really
dude.
don't.
You hit me on I'm wherever, Twitter, Instagram, whatever. Just
Okay,
shoot
cool.
me a DM or whatever.
Awesome.
Yeah,
So you
great.
really don't
Thanks.
know if you're going to have twins or triplets, huh?
I know there
Oh
is
man,
one
wouldn't that be a
in
surprise?
I know there's only one in there.
Okay.
Okay.
I know
All
that
right.
much.
Okay. All right. All right.
You grabbed your belly and shook it around and listened. It
Yeah,
sounded
no,
like one.
we've had prenatal care, but just didn't
Yeah.
want to know the sex is all.
There was a
Well, that's
couple
usually
that.
what ruins it now is the ultrasound, right? Because they're so darn good. But
Yeah, we just told them we didn't want to know, and they
yeah,
were respectful of that.
Yeah, they've
just want to
got
know
stuff
that
in high
everything's healthy.
definition now when it comes
Oh,
to
I've
those
yeah,
Dude,
I've
they
seen the
can't. Yeah, they're
3D.
like 3D now. Yeah, you can actually see the
Yeah.
baby's face and stuff. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, kid was smiling at us during the
Yeah,
3D one.
that's awesome.
Yes, yeah.
RJ yelling at her belly saying, "Quit sucking your thumb."
Right.
It's gonna need
These are
braces, damn.
these are expensive pictures.
That I did not realize, but when it comes to dental stuff, that if a baby sucks their thumb or like children suck their thumb, they can develop an overbite because of that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So yeah, I sucked my thumb a little bit. I'm sure still
I
do
think
and go into the
I
fetal
think I
position.
did as a little kid for a while.
That's pretty
It
funny.
was like Linus from Peanuts.
Yeah, well, I had a blankie too, but I didn't want to go into that. It had silly putty stains on it. That stuff does not come out in the wash.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I guess my ex-wife got rid of that, or I don't know. Maybe I should ask my daughter about that. Maybe she held on to it for my daughter. I doubt it, but
Rex had a whoopee.
don't think I need it now. But I always liked the blankie.
I still got a nice, like, one of them super soft microfiber blankets that I keep, my extra blanket, just snuggle up with.
Well, thanks for, kind of taking a break from painting. How long you been at it today?
Well, I'm just multitasking. I'm still painting. I'm working
Are
on
you?
cutting in around the edges.
Hmm.
I'm going to 3 white walls and a green accent wall.
Okay.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And you got it furnished? Maybe we need to start a GoFundMe for your nursery.
No, we had some very generous baby shower donations,
Did
so
you? Yeah.
yeah, it's
Man,
furnished. Yeah.
I've seen some pretty lavish baby things like that where they bring a bunch of gifts and stuff. I mean, they, outfit the them for diapers is probably the number one thing, right? Because I can't even
Yeah.
Oh yeah, diapers.
comprehend the cost of diapers now.
Yeah, diapers
Yeah.
are super expensive. Like we got really lucky. One of our friend, like someone who lives in the same apartment complex as a friend of ours,
Hmm.
was moving out, and they're like, "Hey," because they saw that our friend's pregnant too, and they're like, "Hey, you want these diapers? I gotta get rid of
Hmm.
them." So like it
Yeah.
was a ridiculous amount, and so we got a bunch. Like we're set for a while on diapers
Yeah,
now.
Cool.
that's good, man.
They do
Yeah.
tend to go through them very quickly, though.
Yes, they
Yeah,
You're
do.
like,
totally.
Yeah.
is my baby set on diarrhea, automatic poop?
No.
What the hell?
Right. Yeah.
Does this thing ever stop?
Yeah, does this thing ever stop? Right? Yeah, you're in
Someone
for
turn
it.
it off.
Yeah, shut it
Oh, I
off,
gotta
shut it
do
off. James, stop this crazy thing.
wait until the first time you get one that runs all the way up the baby's back to the nape of their neck, and you're just like,
Oh, and you just picked it up.
yeah.
Oh my God.
Now you're both going in the bathtub. It's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
the joys of parenthood.
Of
Yeah.
parenthood, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I just thought I'd turn you guys on while I was painting. What are we talking about today?
Appreciate it, appreciate it. Well, we got a number of things, but I wanted to give you the opportunity to talk about your Orion and just give us your pitch. What's Orion about?
Yeah, so it's basically it's a dystopian science fiction in the same spirit of classics that I love, like Starship
Hmm.
Troopers, Brave New World. I'd say it's like Starship Troopers and Brave New World with a little Battlestar Galactica thrown in because I
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the starfighter action of Battlestar Galactica, Star Wars.
You like the
My grand,
classic? Did you like the remake of Battlestar Galactica?
yeah, I like them both.
Yeah, I did too.
Um,
Yeah.
I like them both in different ways. So like I like the classic for the kind
Hmm.
of I like the visceral feel of like the fighter jets in space. You see the flame from the jets, they're
Yeah,
taking off like real jets. But
yeah,
then again, in space you don't have all that necessarily. So
yeah.
I
Well, I
do
mean, you
understand
wouldn't
that.
have any sound. I mean, the only
Right.
thing you could explain the sound like in Star Wars that you mentioned is that you're maybe hearing the ships from inside the ship. I mean,
Right.
that's the only thing that makes sense. Otherwise, it's silent classical music like 2001 had. I don't know if you've seen
Yeah.
that, but
Yeah.
they are silent in space in that movie. There's long
Yeah. So
periods of silence within that movie, you know.
yeah, so it would be like that. I mean, that's the
Mhm.
more realistic version
Well,
of it, but
another pet peeve about space is it's a vacuum, and you're not going to survive
right.
in a vacuum and freeze over. You're going to implode, which is basically explode. You're going to liquefy, and that's within like 1 or 2 seconds. It doesn't take long. But for dramatic
Hmm.
purposes, they always got somebody struggling and freezing, and
Yeah.
Princess Leia's
Yeah.
eyes froze over. What the hell?
Right.
That's
Come on.
that's not even what space does. Space will kill you very
Yeah.
quickly.
Well, you
You know.
remember that submarine that imploded, was that a year or two ago? I mean, it's
Oh yeah,
basically the same thing.
exactly.
It vaporizes you into like molecules.
Yeah, liquefied them. Yeah,
Mm,
Mm.
there's not much of that craft left. You know.
No.
no, they actually found, I guess because it was made out of, whatever material the thing was made out of. Some of it, the sub actually survived, but the people were just
I'm with you, Eric, and I'm with RJ. I can very well suspend belief. I don't care. About the noise and space. It just makes it more dramatic. And
Oh,
Mhm.
but now the freezing part, I got a problem with. If you were the Thing, okay, I could see that. Maybe it's tied tougher, right? But a person, they're gonna go pop real quick. And it just
Yeah.
makes no sense to me whatsoever. It's like, but whatever. I mean, maybe they've been lying about space all along. Who knows?
Space isn't even real.
that's right. We're living under a dome.
Right.
Scarlet fever in the house. I knew I was heating up here.
Hey, old Scarlet Fever, good to see you, dear.
So yeah, but yeah, I like both versions of Battlestar Galactica, and
Mhm.
I tried to bring that fighter ship, the fighter plane element to the book. I think you get a feel for that on page 19 there, the first page I show on the website.
Maybe uh a little Maverick, a little Top Gun
Yep,
feel to it,
Yeah.
yep, I think it
except
definitely
out
has
in
that.
space.
So
Mhm.
the main characters that the book follows are basically the equivalent of Navy SEALs. They're called alphas,
Mhm.
and the story takes place 1,000 years in the future. So I think in the that far into the future, everyone's going to get around by flying the ship anyway, the way we drive a car. So I w- I figure why wouldn't the Navy SEALs also be like a fighter squadron? So
So
they're kind of both.
is Luke doing all the art chores? Is his coloring this and everything?
His colorist that he's used in the past, Patrick Gamma is doing the colors. So
Okay.
Patrick has worked on Chrome Dog. That's uh
Mhm.
that's a project of his that kind of drew my attention to him.
Justin Sweet. Yeah.
hmm So yeah, same colorist as Chrome Dog.
Mhm.
Luke is doing pencil and ink. The trading card was done by Johnny over on Twitter, JP7 Art.
Mhm.
So
Oh,
that
okay.
he did the trading card. He also did the my avatar. You see, he did that. That's the first version of Orion, and I am giving away while supplies last free pop sockets. Those things that go on the back of your phone.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
yeah.
thought I thought I'd you know, tried to get one of those and put in my information, and apparently it didn't work. So I need to go back in there and do it again because I did
Oh, that
did try and
that
get
might
one
have
of those.
been a Substack problem.
Mhm.
Yeah, I heard that complaint from one other person. They tried a second time and it worked for them.
Oh, okay.
So I think that's a Substack issue, but now that the book is launched, I'm just giving them away while they last to everyone who backs something physical on the campaign.
There you
Oh,
go.
that's
Yeah.
cool.
And
Yeah.
is your icon the pop socket? It was
Yep.
something like that, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yep. Same one. Yeah. So that's what you'll get on the pop socket.
Mhm.
You'll also get a sticker with the same thing, same image.
Okay.
I'm
That's cool.
That's cool.
So yeah, I've got a few pop sockets left, plenty of stickers left. Um, and then the trading cards and magnets are things that can be purchased. So
With the stickers, you can always, when you fulfill, put them on the packages. Will you be doing fulfillment yourself?
yeah, yeah. Well, actually, no. I'm using Crickle Blast.
Oh,
I'm
there you
glad.
go.
Oh, okay. RJ,
Yep,
as
RJ's using
well.
RJ.
RJ. Yeah.
The other
The other
RJ and
RJ.
RJ. Yeah.
RJ.
Ramita Jr.
RJ's teaming up.
I'm glad to hear that because I didn't want to call anybody over child labor laws. You'd have that baby say, "Hand me that book."
Exactly.
Yeah.
It'll
Put
be our
that
first
put
project together.
put that kid to work. Yeah.
Lick these stamps, kid.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, they kind of got self-adhesive ones now, but I'm not even
Yeah.
sure if they do the lick glue ones
Yeah,
anymore.
you don't want a Seinfeld situation with the
Can
licking
you
of the
can you
stamps.
believe
Yeah, that would be bad.
can you believe stamps are 77 cents?
Are they really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
one stamp.
Keep going up.
That's,
And
that's
no one even
outrageous.
uses them anymore.
I'd like a book of stamps. It's like, did you bring your house mortgage with you? What the hell? All I wanted was a book of stamps. Yes. Yeah. Could gonna have to sign your life away to pay for a book of stamps. Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I
ridiculous.
try to do most things electronically anymore, but every now and again you still gotta send something. Yeah.
It just blows me away, RJ, that the post office is one of the oldest institutes started by Benjamin Franklin, and they're running in the red. Why can't we turn that thing around and get it in the black in the next few
Technology,
years?
I guess.
Yeah.
No
I
one
mean,
uses
they're
it.
talking about giving us less service. I know a few years ago they were talking about doing away with Saturday delivery. Well, that kind of sucks. We're
Yeah.
we're paying more, but we're getting less. I guess that's
Yeah.
They're kind of like everything else.
yeah.
Right.
Well,
It's kind of like the fall of the Roman Empire, like in
mhm.
Foundation, another classic sci-fi.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that.
Are you a
It's
big
just
are you a
deteriorating.
big sci-fi reader as well as
Yeah, I am.
watching like all the shows? Yeah.
Yeah, I tried. I think Call Sign Orion is in the spirit of all those classics, and
Uh,
it's
there
also just
was
action packed, so it's a fun book.
Above and Beyond. Do you remember that? That was on NBC. That's
Rings a bell.
that's when you need to look into that one. That one might, be right up your alley. I think
Okay.
it was well received at the time. Had pretty good effects or whatever.
Okay.
I'm surprised I could remember the name of it. Above and Beyond, I think it was called. You might even check
Above and
YouTube
Beyond.
on that.
Okay. I'll have to
And it
check
used to
that
be
out.
on NBC. I watched it for it seems like a couple of seasons.
My two like campy sci-fi shows that I just like to watch and just have on when in the
Mm-hmm.
background sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Firefly and Stargate SG-1.
Oh yeah. Did you like some of the spin-offs like SG Atlantis and all that?
I like Atlantis. Stargate Universe I found kind of boring. But I like the Atlantis spinoff.
Yeah, I didn't think it was bad. That's where I first saw Momoa, who's Aquaman now, right?
Yeah, he's honestly playing the same character.
He is, isn't he? He was called
That
Ronan,
was
I
his
believe.
audition.
Yeah, yeah. I kind of got into it after all that stuff on disc. Did you like Babylon 5? That's another good one, I think.
Yeah, Babylon 5 is a good one.
Yeah.
What
I
else
hope
is a good one?
Michael Straczynski, they talked about recently, I mean, within a year or so, that he was going to come back and renew that. And I think that's probably the only way it would work. And most of the original actors have already passed away. I think Box Leitner's still alive, but and they might have cameos. They could play ambassadors or something on the station, older
Yeah.
statesmen maybe or something, But,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, I would be excited about a Babylon 5 redo.
Yeah, that would be really cool if they
Mhm.
would do that.
So where do you
I
fall?
think
Do you like both Star Wars and Star Trek, or are you just one or the other?
I'm Star Wars.
Mhm.
It's funny because like Star Trek is like they're the more like cerebral fans, and I like those. I like sci-fi novels, but yeah, Star Trek.
Did you have any of the
The attitude
original
I take towards Star Trek.
Did you have any of the
Um,
figures as a
any of the
kid?
what?
Any of the
Star
Star Wars
Wars?
figures as a kid?
Oh yeah. So man, I had all of them.
Oh, okay. So I guess you had this guy here, the little medical guy.
Oh yeah, I had him. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Has a little
Yeah.
clear section in the middle here. Yeah.
Yeah, my older brother had
He was
all
so
the
cool, I couldn't get
original
rid of him.
toys from the 70s that like had no joints and couldn't move.
Mhm. That was my
So,
C-3PO, that gold paint. He wouldn't move.
uh-huh.
I broke his
Yeah.
hand off trying to get him to move.
Yeah, so I had all those same original ones that like you can't move around. And
Mhm.
then, all the ones that were coming out when I was a kid, they had joints that you can move and play with.
Yeah.
But a lot of the ones I used were the originals. I had his GI Joes too. Well, the GI Joes had like rubber band joints kind of. So they would
Yeah.
move around.
Oh, yeah.
And I would
Yeah,
make like
I was big into G.I. Joe. I didn't have the Kung Fu Grip or like the Bullet Man they came out with or that big bruiser of a guy, but I had the standard G.I. Joe guys,
yeah.
They
Yeah,
all
so I
had
would
beards and mustache. They were all flocked, their hair and stuff. I've still got them.
Yeah. Yeah, those were cool, and I would like I had Lincoln Logs. I was a pretty good
Yeah,
Lincoln Log builder.
yeah.
Might have missed a call in
I
there
love
or
Lincoln
something.
Logs. Yeah, I think they still sell those, but it's amazing some of those old games. What they Lincoln Logs? Okay, $30. What? You know,
Yeah,
used to. I mean, it's wood.
right. I know. What I used to
How
do is I used to build like forts with Lincoln Logs and have the GI Joes and Star Wars guys fight it out.
did you ever do the erector sets? Because you could cut your
Oh
hell.
yeah.
You know, all that metal. You could
Oh yeah.
actually bludgeon another kid with that stuff. It was, you
Yeah.
know.
Oh yeah, those were fun.
Carrie says, well, RJ, have you seen the sort of comedy sci-fi Red Dwarf, which out of the UK? I know I've watched an episode or two.
Yeah, I've seen
Uh,
that one.
yeah, yeah. I'm not
So
big on that, but maybe I just haven't watched enough of it. You probably go on YouTube and catch some Red Dwarf. I just don't know.
Yeah, I
I
haven't
think
actually
Shadowhawk.
watched it yet. I've heard good things about it.
Yeah, I know they've got what's the other British sci-fi one they had? You can watch all of it on YouTube.
Farscape? Is that the one you're talking about?
No,
I don't think
no.
No,
Farscape's a British one. That was a good
no, I
one.
don't. That yeah, I think the one dude was Australian, but yeah, I don't think it was a
Yeah,
British
that was
show.
through David. That was through Henson, right? Farscape, and that
Yeah,
was kind of
yeah,
like the
yeah,
flagship of the Sci-Fi Channel when it first came
yeah. For
out.
a
That
while,
was
man.
their
That was a
Hmm.
good show. I really liked it.
yeah. Foxfire is another one, but I never quite got into Foxfire. But now when it came out on disc, I got it and rewatched it and actually enjoyed it, binge watching it like that. But some shows I
Mm.
like better binge watching where you don't have to
One,
wait if it leaves on a cliffhanger
there was
and
that
no
other one too that
commercials.
had like the kind of dragonfly looking ship. I think it was called like Firefly or something like that. You remember that
Yeah,
one?
Yeah,
Firefly, yeah, with the
Firefly.
brown
Yeah.
goats. So yeah,
yeah.
my
That's
whole I
what I say.
You
Foxfire?
said
What?
Firefox or
oh yeah,
Foxfire or something.
Okay,
it's Firefly,
that's the
yeah.
one I meant to say though. And
Ah, okay.
what's
So
wild
yeah,
is what's wild is that they got a movie after the TV show was canceled,
yep,
and the movie
Serenity.
was
That's a
pretty
good
good.
movie. That's a
Hmm.
Yeah,
good
Yeah.
movie. Yeah, so I have an ideological objection to Star Trek because I'm such a brown coat. I have to view the Federation as the bad guys.
oh
I
yeah,
mean, yeah. I guess you could. You know.
They're
And,
like
they're the long arm of the law, you know.
yeah.
I'm much
They're
more. I definitely sympathize more with the guys in Firefly.
kind of like the Empire a little bit, right? And
Yeah, exactly.
it's kind
Like
of
you tell me there could be a world where the Empire are the good guys. Come on.
yeah.
if
Just
they would do a deal like Firefly and Farscape, like crossover in the comics, people would want to read it. If you take some of these properties and work out the legalese of it, mash them together, cross
Well,
them
that would be
over.
interesting.
I think
yeah.
people
I
like
mean,
different crossovers like that.
Well, in
it has the
Farscape,
potential to be really cool.
yeah. In Farscape, you have a lot of aliens with biological ships and all that kind of stuff, and none of that stuff
Mhm.
exists in Firefly.
Right.
Yeah, it was more a dystopian view of the future of Farscape.
Yeah.
But now, the thing was, I like Farscape and I like Star Trek Voyager because they were way out in the Delta Quadrant, and
You kind of sound like you're underwater here. I don't know. Is that your mic?
that's Shadowhawk's
No,
telephone.
Okay.
hey, that's all right. I'm gonna get going here, anyways, guys. Thanks for. I was hoping to see LZ before I had to go today. But
Mm,
RJ, congratulations, dude, and congratulations on the baby.
thank you.
Hope everything is great. Rex, I'm
Thank
gonna
you.
drop out. I'll be in chat, man. But
Okay.
you guys have a great night.
You too.
Yeah, like what I was saying is that I really like Voyager for that because they put them way out there where there are no Romulans, Klingons, or anything known. They
Hmm.
had a blank slate. Same thing with Farscape had an Earthman that was way out on the edge of the universe,
Hmm.
and you buy that would be heaven for a writer because you can all just make it on, make
Hmm.
world build right at that point
Yeah.
because you're not constrained by, well, you can't go over there because there's the Klingons, and you can't go over to that barrier because there's the Romulans, or You know what I'm
Right.
saying? It's a blank slate. That's what I liked about Farscape and Voyager, is that, you know, that would have been fun to write for. I think Voyager kind of let it down because they had the aliens that they had, and then eventually, as they got closer to Earth, which kind of makes sense, the Borg would assimilate everybody as they go
Mm-hmm.
out. You know, they
Mm-hmm.
eventually encountered the Borg, and they brought on 7 of 9. You know, for the male gazers. You know, that's probably important.
Mm-hmm.
They even did that in the original Star Trek. They had beautiful women on the original Star Trek.
Yeah, and Captain Kirk was a dog.
He was a whore dog. Yeah, a
Yeah.
whore dog of space. That's my next book, folks. Whore dog of space.
Well, they even make fun of that in Stargate because they make first contact with all these alien cultures, and every now and then, the one Kurt Russell played, why can't I think
Uh,
of the character's name? Kurt Russell's character in
oh
Stargate,
yeah, oh yeah. In the
and
movie,
they had
in the
the
movie.
actor MacGyver to play him.
hmm Uh,
Um,
Apex
oh,
always brings
O'Neill,
up
Captain O'Neill,
Apex
Colonel
always
O'Neill,
brings up
Jack O'Neill.
Lex, which I think was another UK one. That one's kind of strange. It
Yeah.
was kind of like sci-fi meets heavy metal or metal houlan. You know,
Mm.
it was kind of wild.
Yeah, but it's Jack O'Neill. Every now and then he'd have feelings for an alien, and then they make fun
hmm
of him, like, "All right, Captain Kirk."
Wait, you're green. Yeah, you'll you, you'll have blended babies,
Yeah.
or eggs.
Well, I
I
mean,
don't know.
Spock is one anyway. He's
Yeah,
he's half human, half
Vulcan.
Vulcan.
Yeah, green blood. We got
Yeah.
to see that green blood in one of the episodes where after they flogged him, you know, whipped him.
Mm. I did enjoy that aspect of world building, though. I do have a species that's like kind of like a Spock, a blend of human and
hmm
another alien species, and it's fun to write. It's fun to world build. It's fun to have a clean slate and just build a whole universe.
Yeah,
But
I would. It is. I like to do that, but uh, and I've done that for decades. Is world building, create characters and things. But now I get to actually be proactive and find a venue to share it out through crowdfunding.
yeah, yeah,
And
it's a lot
you're
of
right.
fun.
You're right. I don't know why you wouldn't do Fund My Comic. It's still got some growing to do, I'm sure. But uh, they have tutorials if you don't know how to do something. They're very
Hmm.
approachable, like you say, if you have problems.
Hmm. Yeah.
And everybody was screaming for that within the CG community. Was like, we need a platform, we need our own thing. And even Ethan talked
Hmm.
about doing that with Billy Tucci and some of the other kings at the time. I don't even know if they were called
Hmm.
kings back there, but now nobody ever did anything except Luke. And he was probably
Hmm.
the least likely to succeed in that, because he almost died during the pandemic,
Hmm. Right.
you know,
Yep.
but he was the one that did it. And I'm glad to see that Ethan, at least with this car, uh,
There's
uh,
race cars. Yeah.
race car project, and it's not doing 100,000. It's got 3,000 something dollars on it. I'd have to look
Hmm.
again and see how long it's been up, but I didn't even know till the other day that it was up. Uh,
It's pretty recent when you put up there, I think. Yeah.
yeah, well, maybe it'll grow and grow and grow. I hope so. I mean,
Hmm.
that's a different product than just comics, right? I mean, it's comic
Right.
related and it's pretty cool, but I don't know if people want to spend. I mean, obviously, a lot of people do because they spent $3,000, but
Hmm.
I don't know if he was what his expectations for that was going to be. I don't think
Yeah.
that's a good trial run on Fund My Comic to judge if it's a viable platform. I mean, I know
Right.
last time I looked, Cash Grab 2 had like 83,000 or something, or 73,000. I can't remember, but
On Fun My
you know,
Comic.
yeah, I'm
That's a
hoping that
lot.
it'll be the first one to reach 100,000, because once you reach
Wow.
one project reaches 100,000, I think it'll be easier and maybe people might take note, you know.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
I remember Little Mermaid reaching 20,000, and that was huge. That was the first
yeah,
time anyone had done that on
and
my
I know
comic.
Rainy's Fiendish was like 33,000, something like that, or
Wow.
up into the 30,000 mark. I mean, before Cecil came on, I think she had the record, and now
And
Cecil's book's kind of blown that out of the water.
yeah, all of that is huge. People complain like no one backs comics, like they do. Like look at all these campaigns. If your comic funds at all, you've met your goal.
See you, Eric.
You know, After
Uh,
that, it's just a matter of distribution.
well, I like it. You don't have to wait like 2 or 3 weeks, like on Indiegogo to receive your funds, which can be
Hmm.
going towards, either fulfillment or lettering or colorist or,
Hmm.
put your money to work. After 5 days on Fund My Comic, you can receive your money if you want. And
Oh
then
yeah, and
as
I've
it
I've
comes
done
in,
that.
they'll get it to you. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not doing anything shysty like oh, I'm living on this and promoting while I'm in.
Yeah.
Every
You're
cent is
paying
going to creating the book.
You're paying Luke, you're paying Mike Barron, or what, or recompensating yourself for that, because I, I I don't imagine Mike Barron editing is cheap, but
Well,
maybe,
yeah, I mean, I found it affordable. And I think it's a matter of I don't know what his criteria is, but yeah, it was
Mhm.
but yeah, he's already paid for the editing part anyway, because he edited the script, so the script is complete.
Yeah.
But Luke's working on pages like shortly after launching when I had the funds to pay Luke for more pages, so
Mhm.
there's pencils in progress right now.
Well, there's the prominence also of having a major name like Mike Barron on your book. If I
Yeah.
had Mike Barron doing anything on my book, I would have his name on the cover. I don't know if you're gonna have
Oh
his
yeah.
name on the cover, but, his name carries some weight with people.
Oh yeah.
I'd be
Um,
proud to put his name on a cover.
yeah, absolutely.
I kinda like the credits, since comics have started doing that, putting the credits on the
Hmm.
cover, and sometimes I don't. It just depends on how it looks. I think it's another design element.
Yeah, it is a
It's
design element. We had to take that into account. Like,
Mhm.
have you seen? I mean, you have the link to my page. You could see the cover there. Um, it's it's got a lot going on. It took Luke quite a while, but I think I really like what he did with it. I think it's got a Starship Troopers
Mhm.
kind of feel to it.
Oh, I love did you see the Starship Troopers animated? Any of that?
No, is that new?
Oh, man, you gotta check that out. If you like Starship Troopers, the animated is really, really good. Um, uh, it first came out on VHSs, and I bought all the VHSs as they came out, and then they started releasing it on disc. So I don't know if I've got all the discs now, but what I do have, I enjoy. I
Hmm.
really like the animated Starship Troopers. You need to check that out.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out.
Mhm.
Huh. I
And I
saw the
usually mention that, and people don't know what I'm talking about. That's what's amazing, because when people mention Starship Troopers movies, I like say, "Well, have you seen the animated?"
yeah,
And
so for
a lot of
Starship Troop
people haven't, and they're really, really good for
yeah,
the
I just
time. They
yeah,
still hold up.
for Starship Troopers, I've read the book and seen the first movie. I didn't see the other movies. I didn't hear good things about them. I don't know if you're a fan of those.
Um, I I think I've got 3 or 4 of them. I'm not sure how many they came out with, but I've enjoyed all of them for what they are.
Okay.
For the very first Starship Trooper, I know I went to the theater to see it.
Hmm. Yeah, I think the first
Uh,
movie's fun, even though I don't think the director Paul Verhoeven appreciated the book. I mean, he talks about how he thinks it's just straight Nazi propaganda.
yeah.
Um, but I think it's clearly not. If you're familiar with Robert Heinlein, the author of Starship Troopers, He's obviously doing like a tongue-in-cheek satire of like what a sort of fascist
Mhm.
government would be like. Given that it's all from the perspective of an 18-year-old space marine, you know, he writes in the first person of that perspective, which I think is a fascinating perspective to explore because, I mean, for just a lot of reasons. There's First of all, we're talking about the future, and then we're talking about an existential threat to humanity, and what would all that look like?
Yeah. I kinda get a
And
Frank Miller vibe to that, Dark Knight vibe when they bring up the screens for, like, the news people throughout the
Mhm.
movie. That's kinda different.
Yeah, and I have a news reporter character, Lena Riley, the one that's on the trading card,
Mhm.
um, which is signed by my friend Lisa Foyles, who's helping me promote the book. Um, that character does a lot of the story exposition, and for I definitely took a cue from classics like that. Um, but yeah, I
Let
think
me
it's a lot of
mention
fun. She's
this
like
real
my
quick, RJ, and then we'll get back to your project. Flip City
uh,
Volume 25 only has 2 hours left if you wanna get Flip City Volume 25, and it looks like they've hit 30 backers at this point, so they have gotten some support in the last, uh, day of backing. Almost ready to hit $1,000, 48% there. They will fulfill, as they always do, whether they fund or not. 2 hours to go, though, folks, if you want your Flip City, a satirical magazine, and, a good endorsement by your editor, RJ,
yeah,
Mike Barron. Mike
yeah.
Barron, he enjoys it. Check it out real quick.
Flip City is honestly funny. I mean, it's much funnier than Mad Magazine or Crack because there's a bite to the humor. It's not all those cartoons are great, but some of the articles I read have been a real stitch. They're intellectual. They appeal to discerning people. It's not sarcasm; it's satire. And I urge you to subscribe to Flip City.
Oh, there you go. I mean, I
Yeah,
kind of cut that short, but
Mike Barron's a really cool guy. So part of how I ended up working with him is we actually live pretty close to each other. Um, and we did all our working together for the script on Call Sign Orion in person over coffee, and he just made handwritten notes on the script that I printed out.
Mhm.
And one thing I learned about him is he's got a great sense of humor, and you can probably tell in some of his writing. You know, like Nexus is sort of it's an
or or
intelligent
or Florida man.
or Florida man. He loves the
Mhm,
funny books, but even Nexus,
mhm,
it's very much what I'm going for in Call Sign Orion. I think Call Sign Orion is a bit more serious than the Nexus books. But in
mhm.
Nexus, it's serious and mature, but also very tongue in cheek and funny. Um, and that's just something I appreciate about Mike. He's got a sense of humor, so I'm sure he appreciates Flip City magazine.
Uh, just looking here, we had talked about Cecil's cash grab. Let me bring that up real quick. See if that's it. Yeah, there we go. So cash grab's up to 84,373 and 25 cents. 25 cents always gets me. But I mean that can only be good news for the platform, right, RJ?
Oh yeah, it's good to see Find My Comic growing. I'm a big
Yeah.
believer that a rising tide raises all ships.
Well, at first when it came, there were mostly second chance offer campaigns over there. Like every one of them were second chance offers. They had already
Mm,
ran campaigns. I think John Dillard was one of the first ones with Canadian Tussle, and he made
hmm
6,000 something over there, and everybody's like, "Whoa, great!" He was the highest
hmm
at some point. It was the first major thing to hit Fund My Comic, as I remember
hmm
it.
I
Um,
do remember that.
Now you've got Pencils Down over there, Justin Belmont. He's getting ready to
Hmm
fulfill that. CG Master Racers by Ethan Van Sciver.
Yeah.
I wish him only the best with these. They're neat cars.
hmm
Um, I think no matter what Richard Embry thinks, that he should get some more support. I think he's talked about recently. His Blood and Sword has done well. The number 1 and number 2 over there. Pete Samedi got funded with $15,000 for his print your comic on newsprint. That seems to be going good.
I think that newsprint is a great idea. I plan on using. I hope he succeeds because I would love to use newsprint for Call Sign Orion once it funds.
And you got CG Master Races number 2 Battle Brick Roadster. So I guess that's separate over there. And 7 Amens Before Sundown by Tom Tuttle. I see that one, and I see like The Devil from Talon Flats. I'm like blown away by all the Westerns that are, you know.
Yeah, there's a lot of Westerns now. I remember when Mike launched Bronze Star, it didn't seem like there were a lot of Westerns. I don't know if he started that trend or what. What's your opinion on that?
Say that again.
I remember when Mike Baron launched Bronze Star, it seemed like he was like the first Western that I remember seeing out there.
Well, I know there was Wraith of God by that point by Aaron Lopresti. That's
okay.
Kind of a big one. And a lot of people have said, well, maybe that's what kind of started the trend. I'm not so sure because I've seen like Jimmy Palmiotti over on Kickstarter do a Western. I don't know. For some reason, people are enjoying backing Westerns right now. I don't know why. It just seems to be a trend. And I have plans with my own Western character, but I didn't think, that much about it. In fact, to do a little research, I bought all 20 seasons of Gunsmoke and have been watching them. I've just started the 11th season here, and I've enjoyed just watching some black and white Westerns, with some big Hollywood stars that would either go on to do something like Burt Reynolds, or he was Quint. That was the first time I saw him, was on Gunsmoke as a young kid. And I love 60s TV anyway, but this starts out in 1955 and runs to 1975. So probably the longest running Western of all time. And there's got to be some dynamic. And, these 4 main characters here, whether it was Festus as the deputy or Chester, the Doc was on all those, and Miss Kitty and the they start out, and I'm watching it now, the first episode of season 11. They start out with him being shot like 4 times trying to escape out of Dodge, because this whole big gang has created a landslide so that you can't come into the town, and have cut the lines of communication, and they just basically go in and loot the whole city, and he gets on a horse and tries to ride out, but he's got watchmen there that gun him down, and Doc says he's dead. Well, he's not dead, of course, we know that, but at the time it must have been a dramatic season opener that Matt Dillon is killed in the first episode.
Right.
What is Gunsmoke without Matt Dillon? It's not. So in your mind you're saying they're not going to kill him, but back then I think people would have went, ooh, how are they going to write themselves out of this corner?
Yeah.
But I'm just encouraged by seeing so many great projects over there on Fund My Comic. Of course, Devil Flyer, my own project over there on Fund My Comic, and another one here, John Slongbach's Heroic Tales number 1 and 2's over there now, and Fembat Volume 1, Apex Comics, that's right here in the chat.
Yeah, FMC's
one of the grooviest trailers we've got. I think I noticed you had a trailer on your Orion project. How important do you think a trailer is? Because when I look at that trailer, I think that's probably the best part about the campaign. It really shows you who Fembat is. It really conveys a lot of information in it. Most trailers don't do that. Seems like.
Yeah, I don't think my trailer conveys a ton of information.
Mhm.
I could see it both
Well, at least
ways
you have a
because
trailer. There's a lot of campaigns that don't have a trailer.
yeah, you gotta have a trailer, I think.
I
That's
think
almost
so.
like not having a cover.
Yeah, yeah.
I think trailers are big in selling the project.
Now we know
But
you like sci-fi, but did you read comics growing up? And then if you did, were you Marvel, DC, a little bit of both, or what? What did you like growing up?
I really didn't read comics growing up.
Oh, well, thank you for joining us, and we will see you later. Okay. Well, there you go. I'm kidding. Don't go anywhere, RJ. You're half the show.
No, I didn't read comics growing up, but you know what? Neither did Mike Barron. I don't know if you knew that.
Say that again about Mike
No,
Barron?
he didn't read comics growing up either.
Yeah.
He said like he read his first comic book in college.
Really? Wow.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of sci-fi, and I had this idea as a movie script originally, but obviously I'm not in the industry, and
Mhm.
who am I, who's going to invest in me to make this really expensive movie? But someone
Yeah.
I do know in the industry because I did grow up in California is Lisa Foyles. She's a friend of mine, me and my wife. She was on All That. She was on Malcolm in the Middle.
Mhm.
She wrote a screenplay that I know made it into pre-production over in Ireland. But for a lot of reasons, movies don't get made sometimes.
Hmm.
Um,
A lot of
so
times, movies get optioned and you get a payoff from that, but they never do
mhm,
anything with it. Sometimes they
right,
buy up scripts so they won't conflict or so they can't be grabbed up by someone else, which is kind of a
right.
wild practice, but it's
Yep,
legal.
yep,
Yeah.
yep. So yeah, you don't see the finished products in movies for lots of reasons. But she was kind of involved with me early in the writing process, and
Mhm.
she said, this kind of lends itself to animation. Have you considered that? So I
Yeah.
started looking for artists, and that was around the time Elon Musk bought Twitter, and that was also, shortly after that, Fund My Comic launched, and it was only a little bit before Fund My Comic launched when I was, learned about Luke Stone and Nerd Bacon and the
Mhm.
whole crew. So I started like hanging out with them, talking to them online, and eventually, one thing led to another.
Pixel Trader over there. He's
Yeah,
there a lot.
yeah, and I think it was Justin Belmont who told me that, like, you live kind of not that far away from Mike Barron. So I met
Mhm.
him in person, and he helped me write a script. So I had the script before anything else, and then I later approached Luke and asked him if he'd be the artist on it because I really liked his work on Chrome Dog. And
Mhm.
I thought that kind of aesthetic would serve the story of Call Sign Orion very well. And that's how we ended up where we're at.
Yeah, making your dreams come true. This got to be exciting. I can't wait till you get that first comic book in your hand. You're gonna have a thrill running up and down your leg, as they say.
That was very true. Like, even seeing the work Luke's done so far, seeing characters that
Mhm.
have been in my head for a long time, seeing
Mhm.
them on a page, it's like seeing them come to life. It's awesome. It's
What's
awesome
your
seeing
main
something that's been in your
motivation
head.
about doing this, though, RJ? Making a comic book is pretty daunting task.
It is more than anything else. I just want people to be aware of the story.
Mhm.
I
You
just
just
want to tell
got
a
a
story.
story to tell, huh? You
You
got a
got a story to
story to
tell.
tell. Yeah.
Who doesn't love dystopian, action-packed fun? That's going to make you think, and as you have a good time.
Yeah. I often say that, especially since a lot of this woke trash has destroyed so many properties, and maybe that's starting to play out. I don't
Hmm.
know. I mean, when you see Disney doing like Snow White that failed dismally,
Hmm.
and they didn't even give the little actors in Hollywood a job to play the Seven Dwarfs. You know, of course,
Mhm.
I didn't watch it. I had no desire to watch it, and the casting of that was so abysmal. Where
Mhm.
the witch looks more beautiful than Snow White. Snow White was not the fairest of them all. You know,
Mhm.
I,
No,
you know,
the person
I
who they cast as the witch who's jealous of Snow White's looks is like a
mhm.
supermodel. Makes no
Yeah,
sense.
yeah. I mean, and she was Wonder Woman, right?
Yeah.
Loved her as Wonder Woman in the first one. The second one, not so much. Bad CG and just not a very well thought of story. And
I
I
learned
think,
during COVID lockdowns that Gal Gadot is much better looking on the outside than she is on the inside. She's more beautiful on the outside than the inside, that's for sure.
yeah,
'Cause she,
exactly. And I was going to say, beauty is more than skin deep, but
yeah,
if you're going to cast a Snow White, she needs to be the most beautiful person you can find. You
right.
know, and
Unless they're
now
going
how
for
you know
something totally different, I guess.
somebody. I mean, at least for the Western world, maybe in Nigeria or somewhere else, they would call her ugly. Because there's different standards of beauty, but
Yeah.
That's not really one that needed to be remade. There's already
No.
been movies on Snow White, but I think they're dipping in the well too many times and remaking a
Yeah.
lot of these properties when they don't need to be remade. I don't
Well,
think
that's
you
my
need to
issue with it.
I don't think you
It's
need to remake Wizard of Oz. I don't think you need to
mhm.
remake um Gone with the Wind. I don't think you need to remake Citizen Kane. I don't
Right?
think you need to remake Mr. Smith Goes to Hollywood or It's a Wonderful Life. I think there's
Yeah.
certain classic movies that never need to be remade.
Yeah. I agree. And this whole remake business is just very low effort. It shows that they don't want to invest in new ideas, and that's part of the real problem because Walt Disney himself was a pioneer and an innovator. And what the producers over at Disney now are just lazy.
Yeah, I think so too. Or they don't have the right people in the executive or the different categories to
Yeah.
have an imagination. It's all groupthink, it seems like.
Yeah, it's lazy, it's low risk, it's low effort.
Yeah.
It's
And it's low
groupthink.
return, when you put all that
Yeah.
wokeism in there. I don't see them making a ton of money on that. And how long can that continue?
Well, even without wokeism, it's low energy and it's not exciting. People don't want to spend their money on something that's not exciting,
Hmm. Yeah,
you know?
I think that's why maybe the Mission Impossibles have went so long,
Hmm.
because they do out offer that. And then Maverick came out, Top Gun, that was successful and one of the last roles that Val Kilmer played in.
Well, part of what makes that so exciting is, they're excited. The actors are clearly excited to be part of it, but
Hmm.
also it shows masculinity in America in a positive light. And unfortunately, that's all too rare these days.
Yeah, it's amazing in like 60 years, 70 years, whatever, how we've kind of come. And I think this thing kind of comes in cycles.
Hmm.
You got one generation like the great generation that fought in World War II and everything, came home and had children and living the American dream. And I think that cycles. I think we'll get back to another generation that is self-sacrificing. Hopefully it won't
Yeah.
be in a bloody war, but I think it comes in cycles. Uh,
Well, one thing I've
but
noticed about Gen Z is they seem to be more conservative than the generations just before them, and I think they're
yeah.
wanting to get back, like you're saying, that American dream.
Yeah, well, I mean, just like when Trump first came in, really, there was a lot of young people that weren't alive when Reagan came around.
Hmm.
In fact, Reagan was the first president that I got to cast a vote for in his second term on my birthday. Had I been born one day later, I wouldn't have gotten to vote for Reagan and I had to
Oh
wait
wow.
4 years. Um,
Hmm.
but I was so proud to go in that, and that very first time, they still had the booths that had the handle that you pull over and the curtains shut behind you. It was
Uh-huh.
the old school stuff that they probably had since the 50s,
Hmm.
and that was in 1984.
I bet they didn't worry about recounts and all
No, no, it's
that.
really,
Have we gotten worse at this?
Al Gore and all that. They were so desperate for Al Gore to get
Yeah.
in there in 2000 with the hanging
Mhm.
chads and all like that, and he
Mhm.
never had a shot at it because the electorate college. You know, I know that's not the
Electoral
word. but
college. Yeah.
My brain's not wanting to focus on that word right now. So, electoral college. How was that? Yay, Rick's did it. How was that so hard to say? Some things come hard to me. I don't know. Edwin Buzz Acevedo in the house. He's got kind of like a space type thing with his ice character.
Really?
I think, you know, when you so does Orion, where does it take place? Is it Earth Central, or is it out there somewhere in some make believe place, or what? What's the
So,
touchstones on this that ground it to, you know,
call sign
what we know?
Orion takes place right here in the Milky Way galaxy, 1,000 years in the future. So the year is 2035,
Okay.
and Orion is basically he's a Master Chief. The head of what is a Navy SEAL team, but they're called Alphas. And the battle takes place in the M42 Nebula, and that's a real nebula here in this galaxy.
Mhm.
And there's a hostage situation. The hostages are basically merchant marines of Earth's government. So Earth in this setting does have a one world government. The United Nations just becomes the government. Even on
Yeah,
my
wouldn't that
avatar
be
there,
a
you can.
disaster in real reality?
Oh, that's why it's dystopian.
Yeah, you're talking 2035? Is that what you said?
30, 25.
Oh, 30,
Not 10
25.
years. Sorry, I gave you the wrong year. That'd be 10
Yeah,
years
I
from
was
now.
like, that's not very much into the future. Do you think all this will be
No,
happening?
1,000 years into the future. So 30,
Okay.
25. I
Okay.
misspoke.
30, 25. Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, it's just it is a dystopian, like in the same way that Starship Troopers is. I don't think
Mm-hmm.
Heinlein was sincere and a supporter of like a one world government where everyone's, a brutal space marine.
Mm-hmm.
um, the way some people I think just misread Starship
Well,
Troopers.
that's very Starship Troopers, where
Yeah.
everybody's kind of, not everybody, but a bunch, where military life is glamorized and,
Hmm.
join today, and just it's almost like you're at a recruiting center within the movie,
Oh
at
yeah.
least the first one, and they kind of carry that over into the other movies as well.
Hmm. And much of the book has the same feel as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the so and I also say it's like Brave New World because in Brave New World they have a government that's very collectivist, and it's
Mm-hmm.
the precursor to Orwell's 1984. But the big difference is between 1984 and Brave New World is that in Brave New World people voluntarily give up their freedoms in exchange for comfort and pleasure, and
Yeah.
that's very much like what Earth's government is like in Call Sign Orion. And Demolition Man was also based on Brave New World. I don't know if you're a fan of that movie.
Brave New World. I don't think I've seen it.
Demolition Man. Have you seen
Or
Demolition Man?
Demolition Man. Yeah, the original Demolition Man. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
that's based on Brave New World. And you know how in that they have like these like all their political correctness run wild and run rampant.
Mm-hmm.
Very much the same
Uh,
way in Earth's government on Call Sign Orion, but there are a lot of different governments, a lot of different factions. And so the guys they see as the bad guys, a lot of us would see as the heroes. Um, the NIR, they're the New Independent Resistance, so they're like the rebellion in Star
mm-hmm.
Wars. But there are, heroes and villains on both sides. Sometimes people go too far on either direction, no matter what side you're on. And, not everyone who lives under a government like that is necessarily a bad person.
Right.
Um,
Kind of like
so
in
yeah,
World War II, where just because you were German didn't make you automatically a hardcore Nazi or SS trooper.
exactly.
Some
So
people had to do what they did because they were under the oppressive government at the time.
exactly. So the
Mhm.
character Orion, he's basically a combination of Steve Rogers and Xander Cage from Triple X. I don't know if you saw Triple X with Vin Diesel.
Triple X, yeah, I saw that. I thought it was cool. I
Yeah,
went to see that at the theater.
So Orion was in prison for a crime that really shouldn't be a crime, and because of his intelligence, his physical prowess, unique genetic makeup, the Union, which is Earth's government, the United Nations just becomes called the Union. So the Union scoops him up, gives him biological enhancements. He eventually becomes the leader of the Alphas, and he's sent to lead this Alpha squadron into battle because there's been a hostage situation at the M42 Nebula where the NIR kidnapped a bunch of merchant marines, and they're demanding the release of their leader, who is basically like a military mastermind. So rather than release him, the Union sends in the Alphas to kick some butt and save those hostages. And among the hostages is Orion's ex-girlfriend, who he's still got feelings for, Diana Lawson. And yeah, that's just part of the fun of the book. I think it's part of the stakes. Very much. One person told me it kind of feels like an '80s action movie, like when you read it. And
where do you go
type
from
of action movie
here
they don't make
after
anymore.
this book? Have you already got the other kind of in the works, or?
Yeah, I'm
'Cause
working on the sequel.
Mhm.
I'm thinking of making the sequel a two-parter. The working title I have is Labyrinth because you're going to learn a lot about the inner workings of the Union, and you're going to learn more about the world that the story takes place in,
Mhm.
and you're going to be introduced to some interesting villains along the way.
Yeah, I think no matter what you have, what a sci-fi thing like you're doing here, or if it's Earth-based superhero or a Western, you whatever genre, noir, you got to have good villains.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have good protagonists that always causes your main characters trouble, right? Your
Mm-hmm.
heroes, if you want to so call them. What's your besides Star Wars? Because I'm not going there with you. I'm sorry, I'm just not. I love Star Wars, okay, but besides that, what's your favorite sci-fi movie? If you cut Star Wars out,
Huh. That's hard to say.
ha!
I like.
If it was easy, I wouldn't be up here asking the questions. I love to throw curveballs.
There's so many. It's hard to choose. So
Mhm.
Star Wars is great science fantasy.
Well, all right, give me your
Um,
top five then. Did I
top
just make it harder
five.
for you? Yeah. If
Serenity's up there.
Serenity, now that's Firefox movie, right? Or is it?
Firefly. Yeah, the Firefly
Or
movie.
Firefly? Yeah. See, I can't even get it right now. Take two. Firefly.
Um,
I don't know why that's so
the
difficult.
Starship Troopers movie is up there.
Okay.
Demolition Man's up there. Minority Report. How
Okay.
many movies is that so
Minority
far?
Report. Now that's well, you like one more. That's Tom Cruise movie, right? Minority
Tom Cruise,
Report.
yeah.
I don't know that I've seen that. What does that entail? That movie?
That's basically where they predict crimes before they happen, and they
Oh,
arrest people
okay.
before they've committed the
Well, that's
crime.
that's kind of like that Future Cop or whatever. They were actually going back in time, executing people before they commit crimes, which is almost like thought crimes. You know,
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
and the old adage or the old scenario: if you could go back in time and kill Hitler, would you? You know.
Right.
Okay, you like one more.
One more.
Hmm.
It's hard. It's hard to say because I like dystopian movies, and I
Hey,
eh,
Dale.
like Alien. I don't know if that's one of my favorites. I could appreciate it.
Yeah. Do
Yeah.
do 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 do
So
do
what have I got so
do
far?
do do do.
I've got Serenity,
Mhm.
Minority Report,
Yep.
Demolition Man,
Yep.
Starship Troopers.
Yep.
I need one more.
Mhm.
What?
Maybe maybe
How to forget about
Stargate.
this one? The Fifth Element. I was thinking about Stargate too. Stargate's like good campy fun. The
Yeah.
Fifth Element's fun for like its world building. Um,
Mhm.
I don't know. They're both fun movies.
See, I like Stargate because you got the gates that can drop you off anywhere. You can
Yeah.
kind of tell any story that you want.
Well, like I
And
said, I love the Stargate show, and they really build more in the world in the show.
it's kind of
Um,
grounded, right? With Richard Dean
mhm.
Anderson being the lead and
Yep.
MacGyver. Hey, he can do anything. But I
Yep.
mean, make a bomb out of a paperclip, a piece of paper. Uh,
Yep.
you know, and MacGyver was just wildly popular, at the time,
hmm
which
hmm
it's really just hinges on Richard Dean Anderson as the lead to make that a popular show, and plausible, because so much of the stuff was kind of implausible. Um,
hmm
but I thought, having the marine fatigues or whatever, the cameo and stuff, that kind of grounds it on Earth, and
Yeah.
uh, and then the ancient past, ancient aliens. I think I bought 16 seasons of that on disc before I stopped. You
Yeah,
know.
I like the concept of it a lot, and I'm a huge fan of the show. The movie like is fun, it has better special effects than what the show had.
Mhm.
But I like what the show did more than the movie writing wise.
Well, they tied it in with the ancient history of Earth,
Right.
which, yeah, uh, I think that kind of grounds it. It's
hmm
still sort of Earth-based adventure with Earthlings.
Right.
Uh, and you've kind of done that, but just threw it into the far-flung future.
Yep, basically.
Hmm.
There are
Uh,
aliens, like you could see Orion, like he's standing next to aliens on one of the pages I have up there. And the main villain from the book is up there too in one of those complete pages.
I like that your list was not what you would expect. I mean, as far as popularity, I think you were kind of speaking from the heart of what influenced your project, RJ. The movies that really impacted you and that gave you some elements to add to your own story.
Yeah, like I said, like this book is really inspired by the science fiction that I love.
Hmm.
So it's like even
Now,
Stargate, I was thinking about throwing out that one, but like
now
I really like the show more in the movie.
you're a reader. Did you like big epics like Dune or anything like that?
You know, no, honestly, I'm
Okay.
not a huge fan of Dune. I like
Yeah.
Foundation better than Dune.
Hmm.
Um, and people who've read both, like a lot of people disagree with me on this because Dune's just way more popular than Foundation. But Foundation does precede Dune, and I think I don't know in the same way that 1984 kind of borrows a lot from Brave New World, um, and came out about 20 years later. It was the same story with Dune and Foundation. I think Foundation's just better. It's the original. It's the original concept, and I think
Hmm.
Isaac Asimov did a better job than Frank Herbert.
Apex says Sky Captain and World of Tomorrow. Yeah, we often forget about that one. That one kind of had a Rocketeer feel, right? Sort of
The Rocketeers
retro.
was a lot of fun. Yeah,
Hmm.
it's one of my favorite
Yeah, now
movies as
that's
a
a
kid.
movie I wouldn't mind seeing remade.
The
Not the
Rocketeer, yeah, I
same
could see that.
not the same story, but I think he's just a very striking, and you've got that noir element in it. That retro sort of
I
30s 40s element in it.
I think it should be remade, but I don't want them to now. Not the
I
Hollywood that
totally
exists right
agree.
now.
Maybe wait 10 years after Hollywood straightened itself out. I don't know that it'll ever straighten itself out. And what is your opinion about that? I think technology is going to kind of save it, because you do have IMAX theaters and other things like that. But I think theaters really took a hit in the pandemic.
Yeah, they did. I feel like mainstream movies right now are like going to be anyone's game in the near future, especially with where we're going with AI.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know. I feel like you're just going to be able to draw something like what Luke Stone did and tell the machine like make this a movie, you know,
Well,
and then
see, I'm
machine's
not
going to
even
figure out how
from
to do it.
I'm reticent to even tell you, but I don't even I'm not an avid reader of sci-fi. I did read one back in the 80s called Planet X, and you probably never read that. And it was somewhat based on Pluto,
hmm
which I found exciting because, you know, Pluto is so far out there, and you think just so cold and remote out there, and yet it doesn't leave our solar system. You know, it
Hmm.
doesn't leave our galaxy, rather. Um,
Hmm.
and I found it very enjoyable. You know, and I would definitely like to reread something like that again. And it's probably not what you would call cerebral or a hard
Hmm.
read, you know, but more introductory level stuff. But I did
Hmm.
enjoy it. I've never heard of Foundation from Isaac Asimov. You know,
Yeah, Foundation inspired a lot of 20th century science fiction, including Star Wars.
hmm
Basically, that trope of like the story taking place right after a big conflict with the Galactic Empire. That's basically where Foundation, the whole point of Foundation, like it's inspired by the fall of the Roman Empire, and everything's deteriorating, and they're trying to
hmm
like mitigate the effects of the empire collapsing.
Where do you think America is right now?
We might be on collapse, or we might be in resurgence. I feel like right now we're in resurgence. If we lost last election, I feel like we'd be more in the collapse. But
Oh
I
yeah.
feel like
hmm
there's definitely a mood shift, a vibe shift, people are saying. I think Gen Z wants to get back. They're, I think, obviously a more conservative generation than Gen X or millennials. At least for given where their age is at. You know, when we were the same age, they're more conservative than we were, as a generation. And I think, you know, there's just a shift going on globally. You see it in Europe too. And I think the West is going to recover and bounce back. I'm optimistic about that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you know, like I said, you know, there's a lot of people that never got to experience the Reagan years. I mean, I was just
Hmm.
a senior in high school, you know, when he was elected in his second term. Um, so, you know, I was all in high school when he was president, or I mean, you know, in college years, uh, for his second term. Uh, so a lot of this younger generation, like the millennials and those that come after, have not experienced anything conservative except for Trump, and he's so
Hmm.
polarizing and contentious. And I don't
Hmm.
say that as a negative thing, but that's the way they painted him. But
Right.
I think I think those 4 years were pretty good as far as wages for young people, and I think that speaks volumes to them. You know, I
Hmm.
think I think inherently, I know when I was younger, I wanted to grow up and have a family, and you know, go to work and I mean do what I wanted to do, but you know, enjoy what I do, but you know, also have that hasn't worked out for me, but that's sometimes you take a wrong turn. That Space Above and Beyond, you can watch that on YouTube in HD, full
Hmm.
series. 1995 is when it came out. I also liked UFO. UFO was really good. I don't know if you've seen that. That was a Gary Anderson, his first live action
Oh, really?
TV
I didn't
series.
watch that.
And Space 1999 came out of that. You've heard of Space 1999?
1999?
Space
I
1999?
don't know if I have.
Well, now see, I mean, the things
Oh,
that
that's an
you're,
old one, isn't it? That's like a
well,
1970s one.
mid 70s, yeah. And UFO was like 69, 70.
All right.
But definitely give them a look. You know, there are a lot of sci-fi fun out there that
Okay.
like like 2001, Stanley Kubrick. Have you seen that?
Oh yeah, I've seen that and read the book
Okay.
as well. I'm a big
Okay.
fan of that one. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, a lot of people would say Star Wars is more in the fantasy, space
Hmm.
opera type
Oh yeah,
thing. Yeah.
definitely
Did
more
you
of a
like
space fantasy.
the campy Flash Gordon?
Yeah, I'm a fan of that too.
Yeah.
I think I heard George Lucas wanted to make Flash Gordon before he tried to make Star Wars.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean that if you look at Buster Crabbe back in the 30s, you know, some of the first big heroes were Buck Rogers and Flash Gordon in the 30s. And a lot of the superhero genre was built upon that, sort of
Mm-hmm.
type thing. And so they were some of the first archetypes of like heroes of the 20th century. And
Mm-hmm.
they had, movie serials that would run in 12 or 15 episodes, and you go back every Saturday matinee for kids. And they would, when I was a kid, they would run, maybe a good hour or so of like Woody Woodpecker cartoon or something else in the news and different things before you even got to the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And some movies were so long they had intermission to go to buy more popcorn, which is what
Yep.
it's not ticket sales, it's the popcorn and drinks and stuff that they make money on, and to go to
Mm-hmm.
the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of miss those days because when you went to the movies, it was a big event. Now it's like,
Right.
you're gonna watch that? I don't know. Yeah, I might wait till it comes out. And when we went to see Star Wars, and I was like 12 years old
Mm-hmm.
when I saw Star Wars, and you weren't even born. But at least I don't think you were.
No, I wasn't.
Old Man River. Rest in peace, Rex. Yeah.
I know that
Um,
movie.
yeah. RJ is young Rex. Yeah. Yeah, I can tell that by his selection of movies, but I think that's cool that you didn't just pick some of the biggest of all time, but you picked out and some movies that are like Forbidden Planet or things maybe since you're younger you've not even heard of, but Forbidden Planet was a big movie from the 50s, sci-fi movie. A lot of sci-fi in the 50s, a lot of aliens and stuff.
Yep.
Because that's when UFO and sightings and stuff really became prominent in the news, and there was a fascination about that. So we kind of pivoted away from Dracula and Frankenstein, the monster stuff, to more of a sophisticated sci-fi monsters and aliens and things like that. And I think that's pretty cool. And Forbidden Planet was even they had a transporter there, so that there were elements of that were directly influenced Gene Roddenberry, who at the time was writing like Gunsmoke westerns. That's how he sold the Star Trek to NBC, I guess, or
Really?
to Desilu Productions.
I didn't know that.
He signed it as Wagon Train to the Stars.
Huh.
It's kind of like a westerns, but instead of guns, they'll have space guns, and that's not really he gave them. But and
yeah, Captain Kirk is kind of like a cowboy in a way.
Yeah, I mean, you're exploring the new frontier out there, and the edges of space and what's unknown, and I think that's always kind of drawn us as Americans. I can't speak for anybody else around the world, but we had this migration from the East Coast to the West Coast. Sometimes from the West to the East, by going by, there were people out in California, that took ships to get there, but now some took the harder route through Indian country, and the wagon trains and everything. And I think that's uniquely Americana, but I think even the Western, I mean, there's been sci-fi Westerns like Westworld.
I'd say Firefly is a sci-fi Western.
You would say what?
Firefly even is a sci-fi Western.
Yeah, I would too. I think there is a Western element to that. Yeah.
It's also very post-Civil War in its kind of feel,
I like that the Sci-Fi Channel kind of recycled the things for different people working different hours. They were kind of limited on what they had to show then. So they showed like the big four, their flagship, Farscape. And I know they ended with Firefly. And there were a couple in between. And I think maybe one of them might have been SG, maybe.
Yeah, I think they had Stargate, yeah.
Yeah, Stargate, and
Didn't
there
they
was
have
another
Battlestar
one.
Galactica too?
It might have been Battlestar Galactica too. Yeah, so they would run those 4, and then they would rerun them in order.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for people like, oh, I just got off shift, or I just got home from driving a truck, and they would show
Mm-hmm.
those again late night. I love that. You know,
Yeah.
that you could rewatch an episode twice in the same
Mm-hmm.
evening if you waited long enough.
Yeah,
I kind
that's
of
pretty
like that.
great.
But I kind of got like into the SG stuff when it came out on disc. Same thing with Babylon 5. I never watched it when it was on, you know, the channels. I just watched it on disc, and I prefer to do that because I binge watch stuff, and there's
Mm-hmm.
no commercials and there's no wait time. And I think
Mm-hmm.
for some of these, it actually helps me appreciate them more because it's seamless.
Mm-hmm.
I think when you chop some of these stories up, it's not as effective. That you're waiting a week to see another episode,
Yeah.
because a lot happens in your life in a week, you know, and you
Right.
really kind of have to be devoted to it to watch it every week.
Right.
It's kind of like in comics, the floppy, the
Mm-hmm.
one issue, as opposed to a trade paperback where you can read 6 or more.
Right.
It's a more satisfying experience, I think, to binge watch. That's just
Yeah.
me. You know, I don't like the wait time unless it's just a really gripping cliffhanger every week. And not all
Mm-hmm.
episodes are like that.
Right.
Or if they're kind of like one and done unique things, kind of like Twilight Zone was,
Mm-hmm.
or Outer Limits, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and all these shows you've never even heard of. Get out of here, young pup. Mission Impossible. Have you ever watched Mission Impossible from the 60s?
No.
Wow. It still blows me away that Peter Graves and James Arness are brothers who played Matt Dillon in Gunsmoke. This guy right here.
Who's that? I gotta look at my phone. Sorry, I've been painting.
Oh, okay.
So-
Yeah, I can actually hear the brushwork going on.
Oh, you can?
Yeah, I can hear the flick of the brush a little bit. Yeah.
Must be quiet in this room because I'm in my ear pods and they usually don't pick up background noise.
Yeah, they used to have drive-in theaters. I'd love to see that. Thanks for it. Love the Mission Impossible show. The movies, not so much. Yeah. But I guess, I mean, just like that, and Fast and Furious, that's had a lot of, you know, traction at the movie house, one after another. Final Destination, those movies have had a bunch.
Yeah,
Sequels.
Fast and Furious is a lot like the old Hollywood kind of
Mhm.
draw to it. It's
More
funny, I
action,
think.
more action adventure though, huh?
Yeah. So the problem
You mentioned Triple X before.
Yep.
The same actor, Van Diesel, he was also in that sci-fi show playing Riddick.
Oh yeah,
Remember?
Riddick. Yeah, those are good ones.
And
I
you
like
were
those.
talking a little bit about a hostage situation and being an ex-con, and Riddick was an ex-con.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see a little Riddick in your Orion project.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that element in there for sure. That's part of the
Mhm.
story, and I thought that'd be interesting because in like dystopian world, you'd have kind of these non-crimes, not
Mhm.
even thought crimes, but crimes in Demolition Man, like meat is illegal. Cigarettes are illegal. Cigarettes are completely illegal. Anything that's bad for your health is illegal.
Mhm.
Fun's illegal. Sex is literally illegal. I could see that happening.
Yeah,
in
thank you, Apex. Pitch Black, yeah. And they even had an animated Riddick, that was
They
a lot
did?
of fun. Yeah. You're
I didn't know that.
learning. You need to, I guarantee you, he's painting notes in there above and beyond. Okay. And you can
It's in the
check that
wall.
out. It's all on YouTube. You can, and I might even watch an episode or two of it. It's been a long time since I saw Above and Beyond, but I appreciated that.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, back in my day, we only had 3 channels, ABC, NBC, CBS, so it was kind of limited. Plus, maybe PBS, and then, maybe get the local news was a little different. Might have been from here, Memphis, and they might have some shows that ABC didn't get, you know. But streaming services and everything, I mean, movies, just the way we watch movies and things. I mentioned this before, RJ, and you probably heard me say, Star Wars was a phenomenon. When the Millennium Falcon went into hyperspace, the audience went, ooh.
Right.
Because we'd never seen anything like that before. It was a special effect, you know. It's like, wow, I wasn't expecting that.
Right.
You know, nothing had been depicted like that before in any kind of sci-fi thing. You know, streaking off into space. And now Starship Enterprise does it all the time. You know,
Right.
they do it in the Star Wars movies all the time. And it's lost its luster of being something new. But it really was, I mean, that it was type of things that, you know, and when you go back to it, the scrawl of, you know, episode 4, I was confused, but that opening scene of the ship going over and everything and just keep going and going and going. And then the little ship or the other ship firing at, you know, Princess Leia's ship. And it just captured you from like the splash page of a comic, you know, from the get-go. It just grabbed you and you go, ooh, what's going on here? And that's why it stayed in some theaters for 2 years. Now with the streaming services, you're never going to have that again.
No.
You're never going to have that again. And so we were living history at the time and didn't know it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And I often say that, you know, it was the King Kong of its day, Star Wars was. Because King Kong, that was really an innovative movie at the time. That, you know, Meryl C. Cooper that created King Kong, he patented 9 different film processes out of that. Wow. They actually built specialized equipment to film that movie. And King Kong helped RKO movies from going under at the time. And John Wayne, most of his early movies were RKO films. So if they had went under, you wonder if we ever would have had John Wayne in the movies.
Wow.
At least not through RKO. He might have went to another, you know, but his career definitely would have been different than what it, you know, turned out to be.
Yeah.
And he owes his early career and all those actors that did RKO's movie serials and other stuff owe a lot to King Kong because that kept them from going into financial bankruptcy. Because it was the first big monster movie. And, I mean, you know, newspaper articles were saying, wow, the movie's so realistic, even his hair bristles. And that was just from them moving around the puppets.
Right.
You know, they would disturb the hair. So it seemed like it was moving and bristling. It was rabbit fur.
Is rabbit fur?
King Kong's hair was rabbit fur. Yeah. In the original Kong. Have you seen the original Kong?
I've seen the original, yes. Actually, I would watch a lot of black and white movies at my grandparents' house. So
you would?
I have seen that. Yeah.
Well, there's hope for you yet, young man.
I have somewhat of an education.
Here I am on season 11 of Gunsmoke, and it's still filmed in black and white.
Oh, really?
See, I'm old enough to remember when black and white went to color on TV. And I think there were some very forward thinking. I think Star Trek was one that was filmed in full color when there wasn't very many color TVs. I think that was very forward thinking that they went to the expense because filming in full color back then was much more expensive. And not everybody could do it well because you had the old people that had come up through the system, and color's a different science. Filming stuff in color is a different science, and getting it right than just plain black and white. The black and white stuff hides a lot of mistakes. You know, you can cover up a lot of things in black and white that you can't in color. And a lot of this stuff, I think it's funny, they put it in high definition now, and it shows all the mistakes. Like I noticed in season 10 of Gunsmoke, they have the same setup. They reshot it. They'd had the same kind of setup, with James Arness having nobody on the streets and having a shootout.
Mm-hmm.
And the guys, an indistinguishable cowboy, down there.
Mm-hmm.
And with season 10, they put a backdrop, an extension of the city. I can tell that much just by looking at it. It's a matte painting. So the street only goes so far, the distance between the two guys only goes so far, and then it ends. And in high definition, that's going to show up like a sore thumb. I can only imagine. Certain things I don't think should be. I kind of like the graininess and grittiness of black and white.
Yeah, especially for the noir genre, like color doesn't communicate the same, If you're gonna do like a noir movie, color doesn't communicate that the same.
George Lucas in the house. How are you, George? Yeah, I mean, I really enjoy, sci-fi. A lot of people don't like both, but I like both. Star Trek versus Star Wars. But Star Wars is like I said, more like space opera fantasy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could appreciate both. Star Wars is definitely more campy fantasy. It goes back to like the two Battlestar Galacticas. I like the original for how it feels like fighter jets, even though it's in space, and the newer one for being a little more realistic.
Yeah, and even with their helmet configuration with the bird and everything, they tied into the Egyptian mythology. So they did that long before Stargate ever was.
Oh yeah.
They were tying it in and trying to get back to Earth,
Mm-hmm.
And then they did, and they came out with Battlestar Galactica 80, which was sadly not that great. That's when they had flying motorcycles.
They have. I didn't see. I'm not familiar with that.
You not seen that? Yeah, you need to look up Battlestar Galactica 1980. Now they did. I think the last one, whatever happened to Starbuck, because Starbuck sleeps with an alien, has a child, and he's kind of got the kind of like Professor X. He can see stuff, mentally. And he tells the story about what happened to Starbuck, because Starbuck disappears.
Yeah.
Well, he crashes on a planet, and it's actually a pretty good story. One of my favorites. One of the ones that really stick out to me because I was a kid when I was watching that. I was about, like I said, 1977, 12. And it was cool that was on TV. In fact, when they were first advertising in the late 70s, big screen TVs, they showed the Cylon ships, which were kind of Stingray configuration, coming down and blasting the people. And I said, wow, I got to get a big screen TV. I didn't know how I was going to do it. And it's maybe a decade later before I did. It was like mid-90s. But I find, that was a main motivator of why I wanted a big screen TV. Now everybody has a big screen TV. It's not, and they're so cheap and inexpensive. I've got one from 1995 here. I paid like $2,300 for it.
Wow.
Still works too.
Wow. Yeah.
And
TVs
got
don't last that long.
Got a hell of a speaker on it. You want to see it?
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah, they were bigger back then.
Yeah, they're a piece of furniture. Kind of like our early RCA TVs, they had 4 legs. It was a piece of furniture when you bought a TV.
Oh, yeah. Now
it's a flat screen that you just hang up on the wall like a poster.
Oh, yeah. Like how many TVs you want in your room now? Do one on each wall if you want. Yeah, I kind of went for a retro feel with one of my covers. If you look on the campaign page, cover B.
Yeah,
I think it's kind of got a good retro feel.
I apologize, for some reason it wasn't bringing up all the images of the campaign. I'll try again here and
Well,
see
I
if
haven't even noticed because I'm so focused on painting.
yeah. Well, forget I just said anything in the last minute. Tank Ferret, what'd you say? He says I'm old enough to remember non-affiliated TV channels. Yeah. Yeah, when it was I mean, here in town, who is Big D? Big D Hex was gentleman that was on the draw stream last night that I had to privatize, and he put up some porn real quick and I had to kick him. I showed his picture earlier. I don't know if that's his real picture. Hey, Bone in the house. Bone is not white. He said I caught that comment yesterday. Bone is not white. Don't treat him like a Caucasian man, I guess. Pigman's at $20,421. I did back that one.
On Fund My Comet?
Yep. On Fund My Comic. Yep. Hey, I think any ones that hits, 20,000, that's big news, right?
That is definitely big news.
It kind of proves that, you can do at least that much over there on Fund My Comic.
Yeah,
and
that's
I don't know about
huge.
you, but I'd love my campaign to do 20,000.
That would be pretty great.
Yeah.
I just want to fund, That's my excuse me. Why am I choking on there? That's my goal, is to just to fund. And if I fund, I get the story out there, and then the storefront. But the more, I'm not going to say no to a high funding. If I can make 20,000, that'd be amazing.
Yeah. I think for any creator, but some of these creators have come out and said, well, they're not supporting me like I think they should. Well, that's a bunch of bunk. You got to work for every dollar, right?
You do have to work for every dollar. I see a lot of people who are putting in lots of work, and it is just a hard thing to do to get someone to invest in a book that doesn't exist yet.
Yeah.
It's kind of a big ask of the customer, and I don't blame people for being a little hesitant, but you just gotta build that faith, I guess. Get out there, get recognized, build some faith with the customers. I've done that with 12 people, and I feel honestly it's an honor to have the trust of those 12 people.
I think absolutely. I mean, I just think it is much like Dillard first brought to my attention. John Dillard, he said, it's more about selling yourself than it is, if you have people invested in you and they believe in you, they want to support you with what you're doing, your passion. And I think that's a lot. You do have to get out there. If it was my druther, I probably wouldn't do a daily show. I build my life around this daily show. Not very many people are out there doing daily broadcasts. Risey's another one that does it, but he's not trying to sell anything. And this show is not about selling myself. It's about also promoting others like your project. And I think both ways you grow in the community. You get to meet other creators and other writers, other colorists and things, on different shows. And I love that. Now, you're not going to click with, like in real life, you're not going to click with everybody, right?
Right, of course.
Why don't you give us a painting update? How many walls have you done? How close are you?
I'm cutting in right now, so I'm working around all the edges. I'm going around the windows. I've done all the corners around the outlets. After I finish this bottom part of the window, I think I'm gonna bust out the roller and actually go get some real work done here.
Okay. So you're doing that first, and then you'll do the major parts. Okay. Yeah, that's smart. Yeah. He knows what he's doing, folks. How many gallon you got? You're not going to run out, are you?
Oh no, I'm just using my little brush to cut in right now, so I haven't even. But I've got maybe I got a whole other gallon before I even get the roller out. So I'll get the
Well,
walls done for sure.
drop cloths everywhere. Yeah.
Oh
Is
yeah.
your wife making you a sandwich?
No, she's getting a prenatal massage right now. So,
Oh,
she's
okay.
giving herself a little break, a little treat right now. Do this.
Good. Well deserved, I'm
She
sure. She
deserved it.
lives.
She's growing our kid, She deserves a break.
Absolutely.
It's June, it's
And she
almost
has to,
July, and she's in her third trimester, she deserves whatever break she can get.
I mean, she's married to you. She has to put up with you. So
Oh
that's,
yeah. God bless her.
yeah, give her a break, folks.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So you're not, did you set up your own campaign on Fund My Comic? Because this is your third campaign over there.
Yeah, I set all this up. This is my
Okay.
first actual book. Yeah, I think the other two campaigns I did didn't require
See you,
quite as much
Shadowhawk.
effort. What's that?
I was saying bye to Shadowhawk, my co-host, who was
Oh.
out in the chat. Yeah.
Yeah, the other campaigns I did didn't require the same amount of effort because, it was a 3D miniature and a trading card for a book that didn't exist yet for a character no one knew. But the trading card, did actually quite well, and I think that's because it
Mhm.
had a pretty lady on it. It does a lot for your sales when you got a pretty lady.
Oh, definitely.
But
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, there's some people that appreciate beauty, and then there's just people that are whore dogs um,
like
out
Captain
there.
Kirk.
Yeah. Like Captain Kirk. Yes.
Getting it on with green aliens. But
Oh,
yeah,
you got a magnet add on,
I do.
alpha magnet, and you got a patch.
The patch is a stretch goal, so the patch is
Okay. Okay.
not yet there. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess it tells it up around the patch that's okay. Stretch goals. Let's go through the stretch goals here. Alpha patch number 1, if it reaches $2,000,
Mhm.
you are asking for 6,000, which I don't think's unreasonable for a
Mhm.
project of this size. Um,
Yeah, 42-page book, and the minimum for a physical print is $10, so I think that's a good deal.
what's been the hardest thing of making Project Call Sign Orion a reality?
The hardest
You,
thing I think has just been honestly marketing myself and like finding
mhm,
the right time to launch this thing. And
yeah.
after doing, I kind of did something different, doing the trading card before the book and then the miniature before the book. Um, but those were kind of test runs, and I was hoping to raise some money before I started crowdfunding and then, hopefully get
Hmm.
people talking about it. Um, but I think the hardest part is just the marketing part. I think that's just true of all crowdfunding. But now that it's out there, um, just pressing forward. I got to the point with the campaigns that people were asking like, okay, someone even asked me on a live streams like, all right, so you got this cool thing for a book that doesn't exist. Like, when are you going to do the book? Because we're all very curious about this actual story where the stuff exists in. And then I came to realize that like people just want the book, and even like getting subscribers to the mailing list, like without a deadline, it's hard to get people to be invested. So I realized it was time to actually launch it for real. So I have.
It was it nerve wracking for you a little bit?
Oh yeah, because you don't know, how it's gonna do.
Yeah.
I'm at 12,
Where
which
did you launch it,
um
or did you just go live?
no, I did a launch party on Bancroft channel.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. I think we only got like maybe around 5
Yeah.
backers that first day. And
Hmm.
then in the next week, we got up to 12. So we've been sitting at 12 for about a week now. But I know we'll get more.
Definitely. Yeah. Um, go to YouTube here. I got to give Raul and T a wrench. Thanks for bringing that to my attention, Carrie. Appreciate that. Are there any sci-fi things coming out that you're excited about?
There's not a whole lot of new stuff coming out that I'm excited about. Um, honestly, the last thing I really enjoyed, I think, seeing in the theaters might have been The Fall Guy. Saw that with my wife. We saw
Hmm.
Twisters in the theater too. That was a lot of fun.
Did you
It
like
seems
did you like Twisters?
I did. That
Uh-huh.
was like a fun movie experience. But there's not a whole lot of movies out that anymore that I look forward to seeing. I did want to see Mickey 17, but I just didn't have the opportunity to go see that. I'll see the new Dune movie when that comes out, even though Dune's not my
Did you
favorite.
watch the Dune remakes, the two movies that they came out with? I didn't know there was a third one in the works.
Yeah, I saw the two they came out with. I think they're well shot movies. They're beautiful movies.
Uh,
They're entertaining movies. Even though the books aren't my favorite of sci-fi, I just had a hard time getting invested in those characters. The movies are at least enjoyable.
yeah, right now they've been kind of tempting me over at Walmart because they have like both of the movies together, because
Hmm.
they've kind of cut things down, of what they carry. Welcome
Yeah,
to the show, Omer Glitch.
Hello,
they're all
hello.
right. My One of my big problems with Dune is like Frank Herbert, his view on religion. Like he sort of
Hmm.
presupposes all religions to be false and a sham and just a manipulation tool for the masses, kind of like the way Karl Marx did. And it's obvious in Dune that that's how they view it, and that's how people use religion in the book. That's one of the things that annoys me about it. That's why Tolkien hated the Dune series. There's no like good and evil to root for. There's no good to root for that's fighting an
Yeah.
evil. And I can't even in Call Sign Orion, I can't even say the same thing. Like even though the good guys are from the dystopian government, they're still good guys, and the guys they fight are still like pretty brutal, and they're still rescuing people. So I have more heroism in my book than a lot of these classic sci-fis do that don't believe in good and evil.
Blasphemy! Blasphemy! No, I'm just messing with it.
Bone said he only saw the first Dune movie. Did you like it, Bone? I'm just kind of, been vacillating between, buying and not buying it. Uh, that's a
Hello,
great Black Phantom,
chat.
by the way.
Hello.
Chad's creation there. That's great, Omer.
Yeah, I'm gonna color this after I'm gonna work on Nira X for a little bit and then jump to
Hmm.
this one. Yeah, I finished a little coloring on Rat-Tail the other day, so
Hmm.
here's
Honey
that.
Badger in
A fresh, like
in
fresh
French.
banana. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I see
Hey,
you've got is that a werewolf or is that the bear from Mighty Mascots?
this is
Oh,
Berserker by
or
J-Bot.
Berserker. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
gotta color that up.
Yeah.
Hey,
If it
RJ, Mr. RJ, sir.
Yes, sir.
Can I make a suggestion of somehow distinctively branding yourself different than the other RJ? There's constant confusion between the two of you. Which RJs? Which Critical Blast RJ? RJ? There's constantly this confusion between the two of you
I've noticed that.
in this community. In the community.
Mhm.
I have noticed
uh
that. Well,
Homer,
I'm
what do you
RJ
think? You
William, and I've got an avatar, and he's just Critical Blast. Like I haven't even seen him advertise himself as RJ.
Homer, what do you think about RJ's project that
Looks
he's
cool.
been talking about, listening
Yeah, it
to?
looks cool. I've been watching and listening. Yeah, it looks cool, man.
Mhm.
I like it.
Thank you.
I like your taste in sci-fi too. I've been really impressed with the Foundation series on Apple, but I really dislike the main actress chick
Mm.
because she's like a swap, right? She's like it's supposed to be a guy, right? A young man, right? It's the Luke
What's
Skywalker proxy.
what character does the female play then? You remember her name
She's
in
the-
this?
she's the underling to the old guy from oh man, he was in a bunch of movies. He was in the Aliens movie. Well, he was in Alien 4. He was in Delicatessen. I forget his name.
Yeah, the main
Yeah,
guy
well,
isn't he the
anyways,
guy? Sorry,
yeah,
go
who
ahead.
figures out the mathematics to the future or whatever, right? Basically.
Yeah, Selden, Harry
So
Selden.
yeah, Zeldin. Yeah, there you go. But like
Mhm.
the girl in the books, it's a guy. It's not a girl, right? It's not a little girl.
Depends on which
Who?
character, because he has a granddaughter in the books. He has his wife in the books. It could be one of them.
No. This is the. Yeah, yeah. It doesn't matter. Anyways, I don't like her.
Mhm. That's all right.
Whatever the case is, I don't like
Mhm.
that actress. And she's like the big savior to everything. They kind of push that a little bit in the. They're finally like kind of
Mm.
pulling it back a little bit. So
There was
this
some of
last
that in the
season.
books because, like, his daughter had and this is something Dune copied. His daughter had the ability to read minds because she's a mutant. Or not his daughter, his granddaughter.
Oh, this is no this chick isn't his daughter. I don't think she is.
Not his granddaughter.
It's hard to remember because there's all that like it's not time jumps, but like time
It definitely
big
fast forward.
expanses of times, right?
Yeah.
Because they go into the stasis pods or whatever, and
Uh-huh.
yeah, it's real hard to issue the daughter, granddaughter. Yeah, I need to rewatch it again. But I loved all the stuff with the emperor and the AI
Hmm.
bot slash
Oh yeah.
android. That stuff is awesome. Like the way they depicted it, and like androids being illegal or AIs being illegal. Same thing happens in
Uh-huh.
Dune Prophecy, right? Where
Hmm.
the Bene Gesserit are using the AI computer down in the basement secretly,
Hmm.
and doing genetic modifications and all that stuff.
Hmm.
It's all fascinating. I love all that stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to give the Apple series a look because I've heard mixed things about it. I've heard some people say they hate it, but yeah, maybe I'll have to look into that.
Yeah, it's mainly because that chick sucks. And it's like she's good in the beginning, and it's like okay, but then like she does all these amazing things, and she solves all the problems, and
Mm.
it's like
I could see how modern writers would like take that too far. Because like he
yeah,
does have a granddaughter, sorry, with special abilities um in the book, but they probably
yeah,
overplayed that.
yeah, and yeah. But anyways, another thing, Mickey 13. It's a really fun movie. Don't go expecting anything like just enjoy it for what it is, and you'll enjoy the
Hmm.
movie. Like don't expect it. It has its really cool little moments and things like that, but it's just a fun movie. It's not a serious movie. It's kind of like
Yeah.
Idiocracy in
Yeah, that's the
kind of
impression I
vein.
get. Just a fun
Yeah,
movie. And I love those kind I love I don't know if
with
you
little
picked it up from
sci-fi.
like yeah, like with how much I love Demolition Man. Like I love sci-fi that's also sort of just a fun satire.
Quirky. Yeah, yeah. Demolition Man's good. Yeah,
And
it's
then the
fun.
same way Starship Troopers, like I think they're making fun of like
Oh
a
yeah,
totalitarian, authoritarian government. They're not Highland's not
absolutely.
saying, "Hey, this is how things should work."
Right. Yeah.
Especially
And
if you read Highland's other books, you know he doesn't think that way.
right, and it's all poking fun of how propaganda works. I mean,
Right, exactly.
whether you want to relate it to Nazis or whatever, like
Mhm.
it's not just about that. It's how it works. Period. Like
Yep.
it's not specifically them. You know.
Yep. That's
Yeah.
why my propaganda character is a hot chick, you know? She's like a
Yeah.
April O'Neil of the future.
Right. Yeah.
Because like in Brave New World, people give up their freedoms for comfort and pleasure, and that's exactly the kind of person you would have selling that.
Oh, Aldous Huxley's A Brave New World, right?
Yep, yep.
Did you read his book, The Doors of Perception of Heaven and Hell?
No, but that's he wrote that while he was on like LSD, I think.
Right. He wrote, and so I read that book, and because I read that book, I basically never really cared for taking drugs. I just kind
Hmm.
of, as I read that book, I kind of put myself in that mindset, and I read it because Jim Morrison read that book, right? The Doors.
Yeah.
Uh, and so I was fascinated by that, and yeah, I love Huxley. He's great. and
Yeah.
and Brave New World was a awesome book too. Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
really
I
love
take
that
it
one.
you're a fan of THX 1138, George Lucas's kind of
I love that.
version.
I
That's
know
a
of
great
it, but I've
classic
actually
movie.
never seen it.
What? Okay, well, it's basically a Brave New World. That's basically what it is.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
It is funny how they reference that in Star Wars, like when Han Solo, or no, it's Luke Skywalker, I think, because they have Chewbacca pretending to be their prisoner, and they
Mhm.
say, "Where are you taking this thing? Cell block 1138."
Yeah, yeah,
Is
1138,
it
yeah.
THX 1138
Right.
Easter egg?
Yeah. 1138. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a good film, man. If you get a chance to watch THX 1138. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll have to look at that one. Where can I find it?
it's kind of like Logan's
Oh,
Run in a way.
yeah, yeah. Uh where can you find it? That's a good question. I don't think I don't is it on Disney Plus? I don't it's so it's a Crichton. I know it's a Crichton collection film now.
Oh yeah,
I believe so.
it's got to
So
be
you,
that.
you
That
you
would make
might have to
sense.
find it on Blu-ray or DVD. I don't know if it's on a streaming service, to be honest, because it's Lucas.
Robert
So
Robert Duvall is the main
yeah,
character in that. Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, it's a great
that's a,
movie. They tag your earlobe and everything.
yeah.
It's wonderful.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know, it's another good dystopian. What's it called? The one with the gun kata.
Oh, oh my
Um,
God. Uh, it does it have what's her name in it? The Fifth Element chick. Is she in it?
maybe this might have longer hair in it.
Well, Aeon Flux is another one. The
Oh yeah,
film and the cartoon.
yeah.
Um,
Oh
No,
yeah,
but
it's
that's
you're
big.
Batman Begins. I'm blanking on every name right now. Who's Batman and Batman Begins?
Christian
Can't think of
Bale.
names. Christian
Christian
Bale.
Bale.
Christian Bale's
Yeah,
in it.
yeah.
Equilibrium. Equilibrium's the movie.
Equilibrium. Yeah, that's a classic. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's that other
Um,
one with what's her name from Fifth Element, Mia Jovovich. It's the one where they have the folding swords and they fold in space or whatever. You remember that one?
no.
Let me look it up real quick. I think it's called like Neon or something like that.
Speaking of George Lucas, or no, Steven Spielberg, Jaws turned 50 years old,
Oh, really?
apparently.
Yeah.
hmm
Jaws is a great one.
Nobody cares about Jaws anymore. So passe.
Right. I
You know,
mean,
that was the
after
first
3D.
blockbuster.
Ultraviolet.
Oh,
Ultraviolet.
Ultraviolet.
Yeah, I guess in a way that kind of led
It's a joke. I'm
Jaws
kidding.
in
Jaws is great.
76 kind of led the way for Star Wars in 77, right? Kind of brought
Yeah.
people back to the theaters somewhat.
Yeah, that was the first blockbuster. Just
Everybody loves a good horror flick.
Yep.
That had some horror elements in it. Do you plan, once you get this in, to do any conventions? A lot of people are this weekend are at Heroes Con, shilling their comics. Do you plan doing that with Orion?
Yeah, I do. Sorry, do I sound different now? I think I lost my earpod connection somehow.
A little bit, just a little more. It
Oh,
sounds
they must have
deeper,
died.
actually.
I bet I lost my battery.
Yeah, you modern kids with your AirPods.
Batteries are included. There's another sci-fi.
There's a
Yeah. Sorry, yeah, to answer your question, yeah, when it's printed and I have a book to hand people, yeah, I'll do cons. That'll be fun.
Have
I
you
look
ever
forward
been
to
to a
that.
con before?
I've been to one. I've been to Denver Heroes Con.
Yeah.
I've been to
Since how
Denver Heroes
you're a
Con.
youngin and you weren't into comics and blasphemy, sir.
Sound like in the Warhammer guys.
Oh yeah, I got a little bit of an echo. Maybe I don't know why.
Let me jump in and out real quick. I'll come right back.
Okay.
He's not coming back, Rex. He's not gonna come back.
Well,
He's like, I'm out of here. Finally, got somebody to replace me. Thanks, Homer Glitch.
Bone says I mostly watch horror movies. Bone never did tell me. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yes, it was good. It was good. Very good. Well, why didn't you watch the second Dune then, Bone?
I love I
first
love
one
all
was
the
good.
Dune films. I love the new ones visually, like, but this part 2 was
All right,
really
that's
hard to
better.
watch because of what's her name. She was just such a bitch in that movie. Like there was no love lost between them. Like, geez, like her acting was.
Now, what character did she play?
Chiani. She played.
Oh
the
yeah.
main
Oh,
chick.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah,
Yeah,
in Dune.
in Dune
Oh,
Part 2.
terrible casting. Terrible. She's
Yeah.
not even like the character in the book.
No, she's not pretty either. Like,
No.
she was kind of pretty, like when she was a little younger, and she was on that stupid
Yeah.
HBO horror show, whatever it
She
was.
just scowls all the time now. That's her only expression.
Yes. Ugh. Can you smile and be happy? Like, what the
Yeah.
hell's crawled up your bunghole?
I feel like there's like some kind of like the pandemic. There's some propaganda plot to make everyone attracted to her.
Yeah, and then she came out in that weird tennis movie, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to see her. Ugh.
Yeah, with the throuple.
Yeah, I'm like,
They're
ugh.
trying to make us either gay or all wanting to be in a throuple with Zendaya.
Yeah, and she's just so she's like a piece of cardboard, right? Like, she's so
Yeah.
not womanly or manly, or she's actually kind of more manly, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's kinda
Yeah. The actress they had in the 80s Dune was actually a lot more like the book
Sean
character.
Young. Yeah, she's actually beautiful.
Yeah.
She has shape to her body. She has
Right.
form.
Huh,
Curves.
form.
Curves.
Yeah, exactly. How about that?
She's got a big booty Latina, you know?
Big juicy booty.
Big juicy booties.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta keep those around.
Yeah. We can't export those. The
No.
Border Patrol's been and the ICE has been informed to keep the big booty Latinas.
Yeah, those are
Just
orders
take the men.
from
Just
on
take
high.
the men. All the bad men.
Well, I mean, mostly young males are what have traversed over the border, apparently.
Right. Yeah.
I imagine the sex trade in Mexico went up when they were having all the women traipse through there. Very few.
Yeah.
I mean, you could do just fictional horror stories, but they'd probably be true and wouldn't even mimic what's really happened down on the border.
Oh yeah.
Especially to women. It's and some men.
Makes me
and
think
some children.
of Private American. You guys seen that?
Yeah.
Checked out that book by Mike Barron?
Yeah.
By Mike Barron.
Who's Mike Barron again?
Mm-hmm.
Who's
Mike Barron? Okay, wait a minute. How do I kick you? There we go. It's just you and me now. Okay. You know who Mike Barron is.
I know who Mike Barron. I
was gonna say, you're the first one I've heard say that, and I didn't even grow up with comic books.
Just playing.
Now, are you currently reading anything, like maybe crowdfunded stuff?
I do reviews every now and then. Like if you go on my channel,
Mm-hmm.
I do reviews of people's books. I reviewed A Damn Dirty Thing. I reviewed the Lucent series by Michael Bancroft.
Mm-hmm.
Man, he got a Damn Dirty Thing already, and you haven't gotten yours yet, Rex.
Yeah, well, I mean,
sorry,
Carrie, if you're out there, did you buy me a copy? I thought she bought me a copy, but I'm not sure. I think she did.
But yeah, I reviewed Damn Dirty Thing, and I reviewed the Lucent series by Michael Bancroft. I reviewed the series by Frost Comics, um, Ghost of Ashcroft. Um, what else did I review? I reviewed Angels and Demons, not Angels and Demons. I think that's the name of it. By Eccentric.
Thank you, Carrie.
Between Angels and Demons, yeah, is the name of the book.
Even
I reviewed
Cecil
that one.
riffing on Star Wars in this one piece.
Huh. Yeah.
But yeah, it is fun to read and do reviews on other people's books.
How did you
Yeah,
like
I mean, very
book.
few,
A
very
Damn
few
Dirty Thing?
people are doing that, RJ, because they're, it's kind of a catch-22. If you don't give,
Yeah.
even if you give an honest, frank review, you're going to alienate some people possibly and make enemies. I mean, I think it's a
Yeah.
very stunning and brave thing to do nowadays is to review, actual crowd-funded books.
Yeah, and if it's a negative review, I try not to do a negative review for a small creator. I don't think that would be very kind. I have no problem like trusting DC and Marvel when they mess up. But small creator like myself, I try not to say anything negative about them. And if I do have something negative to say about their book, I'll like shoehorn it in, among all the other things. But I wouldn't review a book that I really genuinely didn't like, if it were a small creator. So yeah, in my reviews, I'll give like pointers of things that I think could be better. Like I don't just like I'm not looking to blow smoke up anyone's butt.
RJ,
Um,
when are you expecting your young one to come? Your youngling. There's a little Star Wars
my
talk for you.
youngling, yeah.
Yeah, when is
August
your
4th.
youngling due?
August 4th is
March.
the big launch date.
I'm sorry. Say that again.
August 4th is the big launch date.
August, baby. Okay, it's gonna be sweltering hot by that time. Are you
yeah.
one of the type that grill
I
and
do, yeah.
barbecue? Yeah.
I am one of those.
Check out this
In fact,
VW Beetle barbecue
I
grill.
don't host people. Oh wow. That's very cool. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
host people on my channel too often because I don't stream regularly enough to
Right. Yeah, I was gonna
have
ask
a
you, when are you
consistent
gonna have me
show.
on? When are you gonna have me on?
I would love to have you on my channel. Like I used to do a show called Creativity Cookout. So yeah,
Uh-huh.
it went with the grilling theme. I would do it more, but honestly, I don't stream like regularly enough to have a set time. Like, oh, I'll be on this time, and I feel like that hurts followers. That hurts getting a following.
Yes.
My schedule just doesn't work out that consistently, unfortunately.
Thank you, Bone. Go over there. Here's the link to RJ Williams' YouTube channel right there. Thank you for dropping that. That's what a good mod should do. Are you taking notes, Raul? Raul, I thought you were going to come in here. Guys. Now, Omer, when he's out in the chat, he helps me very little. He keeps the women stirred up. I will say that.
I thought you were going to say he helps me a lot. He's a huge help, but no, very little.
I came in clutch last night, didn't I, Rex? Yeah, very little help. Yeah. Yeah, I help dissuade the blackening that happened last night's stream and put it on private, so you wouldn't have any issues.
Yeah, my
Go ahead.
Come on, you open that door. Tell him what happened.
So Rex put the link in the chat, and he let a rando on, and the random guy put on he switched the screen over from himself, we guess, to black guy stroking himself.
What the
on the stream? Yeah. So
what the hell? Was that
Rex
intentional?
accidentally banned somebody from the chat, Rex or Tank Ferret, and he was trying to unban him, but at the same time, I was like, I dropped in and saw what was happening, and everyone was asking me to come on in to help him out, so he can unban Tank Ferret. But he figured that out. But we needed to make sure he privated the stream so he didn't get struck by YouTube and their TOS, right, for showing nudity on a live stream.
Yeah.
Gay
Yeah,
nudity,
It was
nonetheless.
even though it was brief, it definitely was there. Yeah.
yeah.
Not
Yeah.
even the fun kind.
No. This was well.
Depends on your
It was
perspective,
fun.
I suppose.
Yeah, it was fun for him. You know what I mean?
And
Maybe the
and
ladies might have liked it.
RJ, why do you think that some people take sides? They like Star Wars, but they don't like Star Trek. They like Star Trek, but they don't like Star Wars.
They're just different sci-fis. And I think when Star Wars came out, I bet the Star Trek fans kind of felt like they were being like, the Star Wars fans was trying to like dethrone them or something as like
Mhm.
the top dog. I think that's what it is more than anything else because they're very different takes.
Yeah.
Like one's a science fantasy, one's more of a hard science fiction.
Which
So
is your preference? Which is your preference? A little mixture of both, or I mean, what did you try and put in Orion, your own project? Was it
it's
some of the
definitely more
fantasy
Star
element that
Wars.
you love, or
Well, there's
more
no
Star Wars?
fantasy in it. There's no magic or anything, but there's a lot of
Hmm.
action, which Star Trek incorporated later, and I think they shouldn't have. It's not really what Star Trek is.
The
Um,
swashbuckling.
yeah, yeah, it's swashbuckle, but yeah, it's not an action, I don't know. I think Star Trek is more about exploring. Um, but yeah, I definitely want more action. That's why I say Battlestar Galactica thrown in because when I read a novel, I want something like Brave New World or Starship Troopers, I want to think, I want to world build, I want to test my
Hmm.
imagination and my perception of the world. But when I watch, visual media, whether it's a comic book or a movie, I want it to be fun more than anything else. I want it to be an adventure. So that's why I
Yeah.
like Star Wars more than Star Trek. That and I just have
No.
an ideological objection to the Federation. They're what, a galactic government? They have to be bad. They can't be good.
The
Yeah.
communism in the Federation. The damn
Well,
commies.
Yeah.
they were criticized from the very beginning with and they were very fortunate that that the show ever got made in the beginning because uh uh they said that the first attempt was too cerebral. Do you think you were
Mm.
talking about just kind of swept up and fun? Do you think Star Trek's a little bit more cerebral when it comes
I
to
think in
their
its nature
messaging?
it is. Yeah. I
Yeah.
think it is in its nature.
Hmm.
I think it could have been like it's certainly not Stargate, which is more fun. They don't have lightsabers or magic, but
Yeah.
it's definitely more fun and they're exploring and they're military. But Star Trek is
Yeah, and they
different,
got P90s. They got P90s in
The
Stargate.
P90s are cool. Yeah, I want a
Yeah.
P90.
Yeah, I got a P90.
It
You got a
is
P90?
amazing.
Yeah, well, it's a 22 version, like a 22.
Okay,
The little
that's
bullet.
super cool.
Yeah, but
That
it's a P90.
that's one thing Omer was showing last night. He was showing me his guns
I
off
think in
camera,
Not on
Colorado
a
you
live
need
stream. It was in
not
the
on a live
background.
stream.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I
you
think in
can't show 'em.
Colorado you need an instructor's license just to have a P90.
Well, so the civilian version of the P90 is the PS90, which is
Mm.
it's got a 18-inch long barrel on the front, so you can't have a
Oh, kind of like me. But I'm
short snub like actual P90 unless you get
or kind of like you.
A license to cut the barrel down.
Mm.
But then it becomes a SBR, and you have to go through the background check to get that license.
Ah,
Whatever. Yeah. So, but mine's like a little 22 version with the 18-inch barrel, so it does stick
okay.
out.
Welcome, Ro.
But it's so cool. Like it's just
Good
fun because
evening.
it's a
Good
little
evening.
plinker. It's a little plinker, you know. And
Yeah, that
I don't
sounds
have to
like a
buy
lot of fun.
I don't have to buy that really expensive caliber. The what is it? 5.6 or no? It's the 4.6. I think that's what it is.
I'm
Which is
not
really
sure.
expensive. Yeah, it's not like a regular. It's not like a special bullet, but it's a more lethal bullet than
Magic
Well,
bullet.
it's a French gun, isn't it? So it's kind of weird anyway. Or is used in French tank
uh,
division, is what it is.
yeah, it's
I think it might be a
FN. Yeah,
German gun or something,
it's an
but the French
FN.
used it.
Yeah, it's an FN. So yeah. I think the Secret Service has a contract to have P90s for whenever they're in like vehicles, they have it under their jacket because it's so short,
Yeah, that makes
and
sense.
it's got that 4.6 round, which is bulletproof, penetrating or whatever.
Yeah,
It'll go through body armor. So, and
yeah,
that's the main reason the Secret Service have it.
All right, time to start drawing.
makes sense. I know. I know the on the Stargate show they went through phases of using P90s where they couldn't have them because of the war in Iraq. They were
Yeah.
scarce for a while.
Yeah, and then they made big rubber clones of them, so they had the big rubber props that they were just made out of rubber. So those are cool. And then they had a bunch because once they made the rubber ones, well, actually, I think at one point they only had 3, and they would just swap them around. Like they would just, okay, we'll just have 3 people on the scene, and then we'll just give them to the other guys, and we'll move the camera this way, and then so it looked like more people actually had them than they actually did.
Gotta get
So,
creative in Hollywood, make that movie magic.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of them were Canadian films, weren't they? Wasn't at least SG-1? A lot of it was filmed in Vancouver.
Yeah, in Canada.
Oh yeah. A lot of stuff is filmed up around that area now.
I think even Battlestar was filmed in Canada, wasn't it? The new one.
Was it? I didn't know that.
I think so. Yeah, I think Battlestar was too. Anyway,
Battlestar was a
sorry,
great show.
didn't mean to distract. I loved the new Battlestar. I mean, I like the old Battlestar too, but I really like the new.
You know, that was a time. I'll just
Hey,
say this
Janet.
because we were talking about what's that?
I was saying
Hey,
hello to Janet from another planet. Go ahead.
Janet.
There
What's
was
up,
there was a time like during the early 2000s where I think because you were talking about like female characters, they just make them like they make them all Rey Skywalkers now,
Yeah.
The 2000s was an era where I think they were really good at writing female characters, and
Oh,
I'd say
I love
Starbuck is one of
Claudia
those.
Black in Farscape. She was great.
Oh yeah.
I love the what was the little white character? What was her name? On Farscape 2, she was great. The one that would play off Dargo. What was her name? I can't remember. Anyways,
Yeah, I can't remember.
yeah. She was Dargo's love interest at some point or towards the end there. She was great. I liked her.
Is she the character with the blue skin?
Yeah, the blue skin. No, not the bald blue skin, but the other blue skin with the white hair.
Huh. That's not
Remember,
coming to me.
because there's the Yoda chick who's with the bald. She's bald but has blue skin. And then there's the little short one with the white hair, with the blue skin. So I don't know which one exactly you're talking about.
I was thinking the bald one, I think, is who I was thinking of.
They're both great. Like they were all great.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they were all great. Like I didn't have any problems with those chicks. They were great. Great.
They were just better at writing female characters back then.
Yeah.
I try to write my female characters kind of the same way.
Yeah. Awesome. And then there's like Sam on Stargate. She was fantastic. I had no problems with Sam. Like
we love Sam.
Yeah, I love Sam. It was great. And who else? Let's see. Battlestar. I didn't have any, I didn't on Battlestar, I didn't have any issues with Starbuck being swapped. I didn't care. Like at first it was kind of weird, right? Because you expected it to be a guy, blah blah blah.
Yeah, but they did a good job.
Yeah, they did a good job. They did, yeah. I was like, oh, I don't care. Like 2 episodes in, and I'm like, okay, Starbuck, whatever.
Yeah.
Let's go get in the ship, go bang whoever you want.
Yeah, it was a little paradigm shift there, wasn't it? Having a female
Starbuck
play, the old Starbuck role. You had to kind of get used to it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but they did a really good job,
And I
Yeah.
liked her because she was like really cocky and kind of mean, but like still a
She was
good
also very
person.
flawed, and she had plenty of room to grow as a character. You know, she's
Right.
just likable.
Right.
Oh yeah, definitely flawed. You know, probably more dysfunctional than the original Starbuck ever was. He was
Right.
just kind of like a Captain Kirk type character, wasn't he?
Right.
Right. But it
In a
made for a
way.
lot
Banging
of the
and
story,
slaying.
and it was fun to be a part of.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I imagine
and
if
you
you
know what?
liked
She
that back in the day, you probably liked
back in the day.
the A-Team.
I do like the A-Team. I've seen that one. I know this
Dun,
reference.
dun,
How about Fall Guy?
dun. Yeah,
The
he watched
original,
that.
no.
Remember?
I saw the movie in
I
theaters
liked
with
the
my wife.
movie.
Okay.
Yeah,
movie was
the
good.
original TV show was great.
I like Chips. Chips is good. And the
Chips,
Chips.
yeah.
Orale. Orale.
Chips is
You
good.
like chips and salsa?
I do.
Oh, now we're talking.
I'm an Irish Mexican, actually, believe it or not.
Oh, wow.
We like to
So
make
so
babies and drink.
Irish in the pants and Mexican in the belly.
You can say that.
Oh man.
How
That's not.
dare you?
It should be the other way.
Yeah, is it?
I don't
He's a Latin lover, ladies. You thought RJ standed for RJ, but it stands for Raul Joaquin
know.
Williams. He's part black. Wow, Irish Mexican. Wow, what a combo, man.
Yeah,
Wow.
only in America.
Yeah. Welcome to America.
Yeah, I love this country.
Yeah.
That's a great movie, Coming to America.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, how
When
about
Eddie
Red
Murphy goes
Dawn?
out to the Red
Did
Dawn.
you watch Red Dawn?
I'm
The
gonna
original?
embarrass myself. No, I haven't.
Dude, all the
Oh,
Red
did you
Dawns are
watch?
great. Both
Did you
of them.
watch the remake? There was a remake not 2 years,
Yeah,
a
the
few
No.
years
remake's
ago.
great, too.
No, for the same reason I think I figured the remake just wouldn't be good. If I'm gonna see it, I'm gonna watch the original.
Both of them are really good, actually.
Are they?
I enjoyed both of them. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you seem to have similar tastes to me.
Yeah.
I don't think I would steer you wrong. I enjoyed both of them. They're really good.
Okay. Yeah, I heard they made the bad guys in the new Red Dawn North Korea, so they wouldn't offend China.
Yeah, well, yeah, it was supposed to be China, right? Like
Yeah.
it's really apparent. that-
China.
Screw China, man. I don't care if we offend them. If I ever learned that a movie went out of its way to not offend China, I probably won't see it.
Yeah, well, I think they did that so they could actually show it in China. That
Yeah,
was-
of course they're gonna make more money that way.
yeah, they want to make money.
This won't get my money. I'll see the original.
Yeah.
They got the roller out now, you guys. I'm actually going to town on the wall.
Hey, well, nothing like putting a little Mexican to work. That's how it works, right?
Put my camera on for a minute. Put primer on the wall here.
Whenever
home
ICE
improvement show.
deports me, RJ, whenever they deport me back to Texas. 'Cause that's where I'm from.
Mexico.
Yeah, no. I wouldn't know what it. Well, I mean, I guess I would, but that'd be unfortunate.
Unfortunate.
Have you seen Born in East LA?
Yeah,
They
of
deport-
course you have to watch all those ones, right? You have to watch all the Cheech Marin movies and be like,
Right.
oh, that's what it's to be Latino.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's a big difference between like I'm in Texas, so there's a big difference between like Texas Latinos slash Mexican Americans or whatever, because and even like Latino encompasses a lot of groups, right? Because you got like Raul, he's Ecuadorian, right? Is that what you
Mhm.
are? So it's kind of like the California Latinos are really kind of different from the Texas Latinos. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, Ecuador. That's where I'm from, Ecuador.
Yeah.
How would you say we're different from? I'm from California. How would you say we're different from Texas?
I would say there's just like you guys are a little bit more snooty. We don't care. We don't care as much. First of all. And even in Texas, there's a difference between like the Houston area, San Antonio area, Austin area, and like deep South Texas by the border area.
Mhm.
But I would say that the biggest difference is California has like a deep ingrained culture of their own because they've always been there.
Mhm.
So there's this pride that I
Mm.
don't think is in the rest of like the rest of the states. I think for the most part,
Hmm.
if that makes sense. I don't know.
No, it
How to
makes sense.
explain
It's like people on the East Coast, especially if you're like from the Northeast, they're proud of. They think of themselves as like the whole country, basically. It seems like.
Right? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And like
That's
that, I guess like for Mexicans, California is like Los Angeles is our New York. So.
right. And it's like we've always been here. What are you talking about? You know?
Right. Yeah.
And
Totally.
we experience all this racism and we go through all these things, but we've always been here. So what are you talking about? It's
Right.
constantly this thing.
Yeah.
Why are we getting so much shit? We've always been here. What are you talking about? Yeah, over
Yeah.
and over again.
Right.
And then there's all this gentrification that's happened since like the 90s forward with California, right? So and then somehow some Latin Hispanics out in California, they've made it, they're part
Right.
of it. They're part of the
Yeah.
gentrification process. It's kind of funny. It's
Yeah.
kind of great,
Yeah.
but at the same
RJ,
time,
you've made history today. We've had people on here eating, near asleep, doing all kinds of activity, but I think you're the first one to come on that was actually painting walls.
it's funny. Sorry, I didn't mean to take over or anything.
No, I gotta make it gotta keep up the Mexican you know.
Oh, and you guys love fish tacos, which is another
Oh
thing
yeah.
that is nowhere anywhere else. Like we have fish
Oh
tacos,
yeah.
but god damn, your all's fish tacos are like $20 for two. Like what
Oh
the
yeah.
fuck,
So
man?
yeah, I know. So
Like you're right there by the water, and you're charging us like 10 times as much for what a hybrid fish taco? Get out of here!
oh yeah. Oh, that's the gentrification part though. Like we'll also charge you like $5 for like avocado toast. Avocados are
Wow.
everywhere.
Yeah, yeah. El
Uh,
aguacate,
yeah.
What kind of fish do they use in fish tacos?
Mahi
tilapia.
mahi mostly.
Oh, mahi mahi. It's either that or tilapia most of the time, right?
Or tilapia.
Yeah.
Or lobster or shrimp. You
Oh,
name it.
shrimp. Yeah,
I love
shrimp.
the Baja style Mexican food, and I live in Colorado now, so that's something I really miss is Baja
Oh,
Mexican food. I get it every time I go back.
yeah. Yeah, I've always wanted to go to Baja, Mexico, just because I hear it looks beautiful too. Like
Yeah,
yeah,
great beaches and all that.
yeah. I went to San Diego, um, and I wanted to go into Tijuana, but everybody says it's pretty rough, right? But that's what they
Yeah,
say everywhere along the border. Even
yeah.
here, like I'm 40 minutes away from no, I'm not even 15, 20 minutes away from the border here where I'm at in Texas.
Hmm.
And everybody says, "Oh, it's bad over there," but I mean, I could go across. It wouldn't be a big deal, As long
Right.
as you do it during the day, don't do it at night because the cartel's out and stuff like that.
Yeah. A lot of
Don't go
it's
to
reputation. Like I don't think places change. It's funny because I just went on vacation to Ireland, my other motherland. And and people said like Limerick, all the old Irish people were like, yeah, don't go to Limerick. You get stabbed. That's what
yeah,
they told me. And I went there. It's all gentrified. It's all nice. It's all new. There's a lot of young people there. Limerick felt like one of the safest places.
you're like I was doing the stabbing. I was the
Yeah, in
Mexican
fact,
doing
I
the
stabbed
stabbing.
people.
Yeah, I stabbed them with my tacos.
I just went there and robbed some Irish people and went home.
Mhm. Yeah, nice, very cool.
Yeah. What are we drawing tonight?
I'm working on coloring Anira X.
All right.
And she's a Bill Mouse's character. Bill Mouse. He's the creator of Near X, but he drew a lot of Zen Intergalactic Ninja for a long time.
I'm not familiar with it.
Yeah, Well, Bill Mouse. Look him up. Intergalactic Ninja.
I've
And he
I've
does
seen a lot the name mentioned a lot lately.
He does mighty. Oh, what is it? The mouse. Not Mighty Mouse, but he
Not
does.
Mighty Mouse, different mouse. It was Mighty.
Yeah, he does.
Mighty Mouse Intergalactic Mice, Ninja Mice.
Maybe, yeah, right up there with biker mice from Mars.
Yeah, I mainly know
I
him from
remember
Mirror
that.
X and Zen Intergalactic Ninja.
He did Biker Mice from Mars.
No, that's is it Don Chan?
No, I don't think he was involved in that. Don Chen did Radioactive Black Belt Hamsters.
I used to watch that
Oh.
cartoon, Biker Mice from Mars.
Nice.
The
Yeah, they
90s
did.
had a lot of cartoons based on good comics.
I guess that was late 80s, wasn't it, when that came out?
Late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I went
Yeah,
for a
they-
retro feel with Call Sign Orion's B cover that Doc Blaylock did. If you pull up the campaign page, I think the B cover looks like a show you might have watched in the 80s or
Okay.
90s as a kid.
Well, we know Doc
Oh,
around
that-
here. We didn't realize
That's why you
that
got
we
a.
didn't.
That's why you got a copy of a Damn Dirty Thing, because you know Doc Blaylock.
Actually,
Yeah.
I did the review before that, before
wow.
he did my cover.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Doc and
Homer.
Rex are best friends. That's why I'm saying.
Oh, really?
Man, I am going to kick you after that one. See ya.
What?
Yeah, buddies.
Butt
Um,
buddies.
Yeah. So, okay, let's go down here and let's see. Which one
Like that
was
black
drawn
guy.
by Doc Blaylock?
The cover B right there.
Uh,
Right there on the right. Oh, past it. But it'll come up again
So-
if you keep scrolling. There
Like
it is.
right
This
here?
is the second one.
Okay. I would
Yeah.
not have. Yeah, now that I look at it, I can see Doc's style.
Oh
in
yeah,
that,
I could see it a little. Yeah,
Mhm.
I like it.
Sorry, I think I might have froze. I just heard you.
And so, did you have the same colorist do the covers as well?
So Patrick Gamma did the A cover, the colors on the A cover. So
Okay.
cover A is Luke Stone and Patrick Gamma. Cover B
Okay.
is Doc Blaylock and Anthony Romano.
Okay.
Anthony Romano.
Very cool.
He's
Yeah,
your
I-
hermano.
Yeah, you've got a digital tier there as well, $5. Are you doing international shipping before Carrie
Yep.
asked?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. No matter
So
where
definitely a
you
worthwhile
are.
project. Looks pretty solid. He's already working on issue 2. Go over there and check out Project Orion, call sign Orion.
Call sign Orion. Yep.
Uh,
Yeah.
it
$10 for a physical print is for 42 pages. I think is a good deal.
Yes,
well, you
sir.
couldn't
Yes,
have
sir.
launched on a better program, the ambassador of CG, for many years, Michael
Till he was
Bancroft.
kicked out.
It's great that you have, had gained about 5 on the launch, but that's not really a big Bancroft bump, is it?
It's not the bump. Yeah, people told me the bump's not what it used to be, but he's a good dude nonetheless, and I'm glad he had me on.
Uh-huh.
It's because
Oh,
you're
yeah, it
not
was
supposed
great.
to. You're not supposed to launch on Bancroft. You're supposed to launch somewhere else, and then you go to Bancroft to get the bump.
Oh,
okay.
now you tell
You
him.
did it
Okay.
wrong. You did it wrong. You should have said you're Mexican though. That would have brought all the cousins out, the family.
Oh shit!
You
Why didn't I think
know,
of
to buy the book. And, Órale, primo. Una cumbia. Then people would start drinking Dos Equis, and it's a
Right.
party. It's a pachanga at that point.
There we go.
I like Joseki.
Yeah, I like Dos Equis.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bancroft said I should have, put some boobs on Orion and got for the USA money.
Oh,
transgender comic book.
Yeah.
There is something to say about sex appeal for a comic, don't you think?
I mean, I have boobs on actual women, not on dudes. So
Space cadet chicks with boobs. I mean, Can't go
I
wrong.
mean, yeah, look at my cover B and look at my trading card.
Oh yeah.
They're both characters in the
there's
book.
boobs on there.
They're there. They're there.
Definitely.
There's
Yeah.
some.
Yeah, you were. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool that you kind of tested the market before your launch of your main project.
Yeah,
I think that's
it
very
was a unique
smart.
idea,
Kind of.
but it seemed like the thing to
Mhm.
do, I guess.
Yeah, I remember the trading card. And your movie star friend being the cosplayer card.
Yeah, and that is a stretch goal. Doing her doing an actual cosplay cover of her character.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Meta Bolt.
What's that?
Yeah, I don't know what he said.
But yeah, the feedback I was getting, from people was like, "Yeah, this stuff looks cool. What's it from? Like, we want to see the story." So that to me was a sign that it was time to actually launch.
And I was just saying I made it back.
Yeah, we didn't know you were gone.
Guess who's back? Back again.
Loving me softly.
Shady's back with a friend.
How did you connect with Doc Blaylock over your project and hire him?
It started when I reviewed Damn Dirty Thing because I would just be an interloper in their chat, on their show.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw, they got a noir book. I like the noir genre, and I was looking for a book to review because I'd already done some, and figured I'd review their book. And they liked the review, and that's kind of how we started talking.
Mm-hmm.
But I was also looking for
Yeah,
a
he's
cover B at
easy.
the time because I like
He's
the
easy
cover
to
they did
work
for
for.
Damn Dirty Thing, and I wanted more of a movie poster style cover
Mm-hmm.
as like an alternate cover. So that's why I asked them to do it.
RJ, so you use the brown noser method. I get it. That's great. That's a great one. I'm
Whatever
just
works,
playing.
man.
I'm just playing. Just playing. Yeah, exactly. Whatever works. 100%. 100%.
The swallow's coming out pretty good. I mean, it's all primer. I should do I'm just gonna do like a POV shot here. We could all paint something.
Let's see.
When you guys
Let's
are
see.
drawing.
What does it got?
Let me flip my camera. Can I flip my camera around?
Yeah, you should
guess I
be able
can't.
to.
Flip the camera. I'm just boomering right now. I don't know if I can flip my
Yeah.
camera on StreamYard.
Just turn the phone the other way.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I'll do that.
It's real hard.
Some primer on.
yeah. Undercoat.
Oh, look at that.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's what I do. I just hide for the camera.
Can you see it?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is a home improvement show now. I'm just gonna.
Yeah. Tim Allen. Hell yeah.
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 My dad looked a lot like him. People would confuse my dad for Tim Allen. People would come up to him like,
Well,
You should
you
get
look
the
like you
spray
could be
gun that
places and act like
sprays the
it was
paint.
You look like you could be
Yeah.
his son.
oh, thank you. I am a guy, the son of a guy who looks just like him. So
Yeah. You look like you're 7 feet, 350 pounds. So you're pretty
No.
big Mexican, man.
No,
Or
man.
Latino. You're like
He's
a
not that-
giant.
He's not that weighty.
so my grandpa
I'm just teasing
was
him, right?
half and half Irish and Mexican. He would my dad called him the Big Bean because he was like 6'4".
Holy
Big bean.
shit, the big bean.
Yeah.
God dang.
He's
my
one of the
stepson
Mexican
was-
legends.
He was a boxer too.
My stepson was
really?
6'5" at age 16. He was a monster. He was big,
Really?
like his grandfather. Yeah.
Well, y'all feed them them cornbread.
Bunch of cornbread
think
you
Mexicans
could-
there.
Cornbread.
Corn Mexicans.
Hell.
Corn fed.
Corn tortillas.
Them corn fed mules. What do you feed them, Rex? We feed them a whole cow at lunchtime.
Mhm.
And the cornbread and the Irish potatoes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Potatoes are very nutritious, very cheap. Just gotta diversify your crops or you get a famine.
The famine, right?
Yeah, that's actually how my family um, became Irish and Mexican. The Irish people moved to Mexico first.
Oh, really?
Yep. And then moved to America later. But, well, so it's funny. So my grandpa, I have a great grandfather who grew up in Mexico, who was full blood Irish,
Mhm.
and he grew up in Chihuahua, and
Mm-hmm.
he
Chihuahua. I think I
actually
married her once.
he actually helped hide Pancho Villa.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You
Um,
always forget that you know people do move all over the world, and you
yeah,
know
but
not just South America.
he came to Los Angeles as an adult, and then married my grandma, who was full blood Mexican and grew up in Los Angeles. But it was funny because he spoke English with an Irish accent, because his
Uh-huh.
parents spoke English with an Irish accent. Those were the only people he'd heard speak English growing up.
Right,
And he spoke Spanish like someone who grew up in Mexico.
Mexico. Yeah, that's dope, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the story.
That's a great story. It's a great story.
Now I don't know if I actually got an answer to this one, so I'm going to do a Jen Psaki RJ and circle back to it. Are you reading some crowdfunded stuff? I mean, you're doing reviews of some stuff, but is that basically your whole collection? Is like CG stuff, or
No,
have you ventured out and gotten some other independents or DCs or Marvels?
I collect things when last year when I went to the con, I got some collector books that
Mhm.
were signed. I don't really want to read, but yeah, usually when I do, I look for mostly indies, and then based on how interesting I think it is, sometimes I get digital, sometimes I get physical, but then I read it. If I like
Right.
it, I'll do a review of it.
Mhm.
That's basically how I approach it.
All right. Here's the big question I never ask it, RJ. Did you back Devil Flyer?
Guilty. Guilty as charged.
Okay,
I'll tell you what. I'll back your.
didn't.
I'll back your book, and if I don't review it,
You know
what that means,
don't say
right?
anything. We'll keep it quiet.
Yes, always say yes to back and Devil Fly.
Yeah.
Well, I'll back
Yeah,
your escape
I
props
don't
review.
usually ask that, but there is I think for me, I've said for a long time the story that I think that I like the most out of it was the one that I and Doc Blaylock did, Grave Tales.
So is it several stories?
Yeah,
it's
like
anthology.
an
Yeah,
anthology.
it's like a superhero connected universe.
And Doc
yeah.
Blaylock's got some work in it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, then
he's got.
I'll
he
definitely check
did.
it out.
He did like my swamp monster character Bog, but the story's not. Bog is in the movie. I mean, and you'll see some original artwork from that by Doc Blaylock up on the campaign that he did 2 or 3 years ago. This has been in the works for several years, and he's. Well, I'll just play
I
the
wasn't
trailer.
kidding.
How about
They
that?
are
Should
buddies.
I guess
They're
Okay.
buddies.
I wasn't sure if
Sorry.
you were being facetious or what, because you never know.
No. Yeah. Sorry, Rex. I didn't mean-
Back at today. There we go. Another wonderful Fund My Comic campaign. Exclusively on Fund My Comic, going nowhere else. Hope to fulfill it here in the next month, at the end of next month, hopefully.
I want to do
We'll
a
see.
song for that.
Looks
Yeah,
pretty
I'd
cool.
buy
Yeah.
that for $1.
Absolutely. I'll buy that for $1.
Yeah.
Little RoboCop humor there.
Yeah.
Kick him now. Yeah.
Oh
Doc
man.
Blaylock has been hanging out for at least 3 years over here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like that story because it's not about the principal character, which is Bog. It's more about the psychotic killing clown, you know. And you saw in the
There isn't
trailer there
that.
enough of it, you know. Definitely Shadowhawk. Devil Flyer is a project that, you know, if you like all types of stories from noir to sci-fi to whatever, it's got a little bit of all of it in there. And if it's not in there, it'll be coming, you know, in future
All right.
issues. They say anthologies don't sell. I guess we've done pretty well with the campaign.
Well,
You know, almost 4,700 so far. So I think we looked at
has
the
freaked
average
everybody.
the other day, didn't we, Omer? And like the average person's
Yeah,
backed
over
at
on
like
Fund My
$130, $120 on average,
Yeah,
you know, which is way above average. So I'm very grateful.
but
You
my
won't
pay
hear me
grades.
coming on here saying, you didn't support me enough. You know?
Right.
I won't even do that if I only have 12 backers. I'll figure it out. I'm glad I got 12.
Basically, my
Yeah, man.
elevator pitch, you know, and I think every person that has a campaign, RJ, should probably have a good pitch that lasts about, you know, 20, 30 seconds. Mine's like you got a non-free agent of like Devil Flyer who's burst upon the scene that, you know, no one knows a little bit about, and even the reader, they'll get little Easter eggs here and there about his past. You have that in the first issue, which is a prequel. And then we'll go to a 0 issue and then a number 1 issue and count down to basically Armageddon, you know, which he's trying to you know, curve away from by banning all these other characters that I have in the Momentum universe together. And they each have their own individual stories till we roll it all into the one story, which is Devil Flyer. He's trying to stop this ancient evil from coming back to the earth, basically opening the Pandora's box a second time. That's why a lot of the world's kind of thrown into chaos and off kilter, and he has to kind of stop that, you know.
Okay.
And then
Sounds
after
like Hellboy,
that
sort of.
kind of climaxes, I'll tell you the origin of Devil Flyer, because by then I figure you'll be invested in the character enough to care about the character. So
okay,
definitely
I
check
like
it out.
that.
We got a digital tier. We've got new art book, new sticker book up there that's based on the old Marvel value stamps of the Bronze Age. We've got a 9 card or 10 card really trading card set, which will have like 19 characters on there. So you might have on one card you'll have Devil Flyer, and so a lot of the cards are up there. You got some Omer Glitch artwork up there for the sticker book.
Hell yeah.
You got some 6 a.m. stickers. And I encourage everybody, you know, RJ, you don't have to gift it. I'll just gift you a copy when we get it printed. If you
I'll
remind
back
me,
you.
or if you do back
Lucky
it, I'll
man
give
doing
you
that
another
Devil
copy.
Flyer artwork, Omer.
Yeah, and you're wanting to back this Devil Flyer, the first campaign here, because then you become a charter member. And a charter member means you will get first your charter member and a free gift in the mail. And periodically, I will be sending out, if you're a charter member and own a charter member card, part of the Devil Flyer fan club, you'll get free stuff from now on sent to you in the mail. Free stuff. I will always check your address to make sure you haven't moved.
That's a great deal.
Yeah, you want to get it. And if you don't want to, if you want to try before you buy, there is this over on Fund My Comic or Indiegogo. that's like Devil Flyer. He doesn't play well for others. I think that trailer kind of stopped there for a second. At least it did on my end. But yeah, the Devil Flyer ash can up on
Buy
Indiegogo
one
still.
Devil Flyer, get
There's
one
only
Devil
100.
Flyer free.
Absolutely, buy one get one free. You get two magnets that we made for the campaign. You get two trading cards. The first promo trading cards. Here's the magnets that you get with that campaign, and you get 3 bog bookmarks, artwork by yours truly. So check it out over there on Indiegogo as well. We've got a few more copies left. If you try before you buy. It does have the first 7 pages of the Devil Flyer story. But yes, we have a bog story. We have an Interman story. We have a bystander story in the book. We have a Dirty Joe story and more. So check it out. You'll get your first look at characters like Midnight and the Roustabouts. There is Drawn Interior over there. All on Fund My Comic. Go check it out. I'm told I don't shield the book enough. So there you go.
Hell yeah.
But you got to have a good pitch, right?
There you go.
Got to have a good pitch.
That's what she said.
Mm-hmm. But she never learned to catch. So there's kind of a, if you're going to pitch, you got to have a good catcher, right?
Right. Just put it on the shelf. On that big booty Latina.
Yeah. If I was approached by one of those, Homer, I wouldn't know what to do. Tell you the truth.
The big booty Latina.
Yeah, that big
You
juicy
say,
booty.
Hola, baby, ¿cómo estás?
Mm-hmm.
Me llamo Rex.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta roll the R.
Suave. Sexy.
Gotta roll the R and handle some spicy.
Yeah. Soy Rexy sexy.
Sexy Lexi. Yeah.
Tengo
Sexy
sexual mágico. That's what
Mhm.
you need to tell the ladies, Rex.
All night long. Well, look,
You
I'll
got
take you
magical
along as a
sex.
friend, and
Yeah.
we'll double date. How about that?
Wingman.
Yeah. A wingman you, yeah.
Maverick and Goose.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing about drawing Devil Flyer. It's the wings. You get, the detail on the wings.
You guys
But
are
I've already gotten my ash can in hand. That's ready to mail out to anybody that wants one. Only 100 produced. But when you get that first book, even though it was 24 page ash can, RJ, there's no better feeling in the world. So you got a good experience coming your way when you actually get that printed and then you hold it in your hands and you say,
I'm
you
looking
can
forward
point
to that part.
and say, I made that, And that's what I like about crowdfunding is, you can do more than just books. You can do magnets, you can do stickers, you can do cars, action figures, whatever the budget, allows. I get does your wife's taste run about the same when it comes to
No,
sci-fi?
she's not into any of this stuff.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So there's kind of like woman night at the movies and there's man night at the movies, huh?
Yeah, we both kind of like spy movies, so if like there's something like we in common,
The
it's gonna
Accountant
be
too.
that.
Did you guys watch that?
Oh yeah, we watched that. That was a good one.
Yeah, it was entertaining.
Unfortunately, they've kind of killed the James Bond franchise as well over time.
Yeah, they did.
I this is true story. When I really want to feel like a man and feel good and get the testosterone levels up, I'll put a James Bond movie on.
You watch some Sean Connery.
That's right. Right. Watch the original. Absolutely.
Right.
Good way to go.
Yeah. I mean, they're a little dated now, right? I mean, on
Right.
the look of the movie because it was set
Right.
in the 60s.
That's good to know that. I'm start watching some James Bond. Pump me up.
Yeah.
But you've got to get
Pump
to the
you up,
octopus.
absolutely. Yeah. Octopussy. Yeah. Now that was the other Bond, that's more.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
give me more. Give me
But
more.
it's still funny.
Yeah.
On
Oh,
the
yeah.
top. What was her name? Anna on the top.
Roger Moore was more of a comedic Bond. really, with the gags.
Money Penny.
If you think about Money Penny, yeah, she's always good for a few laughs.
Mm-hmm. And a good time.
Back at today for a good time. And
Yeah.
reback.
Yeah, I wanted to point out that Rex disguised his anthology as like a book about one character, Devil Flyer, but it's an anthology, which is great. It's great. He pulled the
Yeah.
classic bait and switch. You're getting more for your buck than you even knew.
Well, guys, thanks for having me on. I gotta
Yeah, I'm
I gotta
hoping
run
that.
now, but it was fun being impromptu and
Okay.
painting and talking with you guys. I'll definitely
Yeah,
back your
Hey,
book
me
and
too.
do a review of it.
Jay.
Sorry, you broke up there.
I said my computer is doing some wacky stuff. I may have to shut it down and come back in
Okay.
to
Well,
close it
definitely
down.
back Devil Flyer, and I'll do a review.
Good to meet you,
Oh,
RJ. Good
awesome.
chatting with you.
Yeah.
All right, you too.
Later,
Later.
buddy.
Take care, RJ. Omer, I'm
Yes, sir.
not even seeing the show on the screen, so I'm gonna
Oh, wow.
reboot and come back in. Okay.
Okay, I'll be here. I'll entertain the masses if you want me to keep it going. Me and Raul T here.
Yeah, at least till I can come back in and close it down.
Alrighty, sir. We'll be here.
Okay.
What you got going there, Raul? Looks you doing some Devil Flyer. Looks like it looks great, man. From what I can see.
Yeah, we'll keep you laughing.
We'll keep you laughing at us, not with us. Oh man.
Yeah, man, I'm coming out with the dope art tonight. The dope flyer art.
Oh yeah. Oh, Dope Flyer. Nice. He drops dope from the sky.
Okay, I'm copywriting that right now. That's a good
Dope
idea.
Flyer. Dope Flyer. Yeah.
Dope flyer.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm trying.
I couldn't hear anything you said, Rex.
Unresponsive much?
You went. Blah, 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 blah.
Uh-huh. We love Omer
Did you read-
Glitch.
Oh. So I'm looking at a reference of Near X, so I don't have the stream on this other
Hey,
computer.
I know I'm on a delay, but that's all right.
Well, I'm glad people love me. Love me hard.
Oh, love me. Oh, Omer.
Oh, it's so good. Thank you, Cecil.
Yeah,
Oh,
wait for the program to respond. Wow.
have you ended the show? Are we still on? We're still live. Looks like we're still. Yeah, we're
Got
still live.
Pez.
Won't even let me shut it
God,
down.
Pez. That's funny, dude. Damn it, Raul. Hey, man, you got to draw like one or two more angles of your character.
I think
so I can
you and
draw
Omer
it.
and me are still live, but I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. We're still live. Your character's badass, dude. I like it. Is it like silhouetted out in the center or like and how do you say the name? Nocturus Vic? Share with me. Hello?
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, he's all black like that. Like Sunspot. He's got the white eyes. He's got like kind of like the hair, and he's got the crossbow.
Okay. So there's not a whole lot else to him than what we actually see. So even if we got a different angle, we wouldn't see a whole lot more stuff, I guess. Is what I'm asking. Yeah, it's cool, man. I want to draw it. Yeah, I want to do some fan art for you.
Yes, yeah, that's correct. Yeah, so it's not a shadow. He gets his power from the Esmeraldas from Ecuador, the stone. He's like an Aztec, Ecuadorian warrior.
Nice. The raza representing the Latinos, the Ecuadorians. Now, where's Ecuador in? I should just look up a map. Oh, Rex is out. Rex is out. Let's see. Let me look up Ecuador.
The
Where is
power
it?
of the Esmeraldas.
Oh, the Esmeraldas will consume you for the Nocturus Victor. Or how do you say your character's name?
He got KO'd.
Let's see. Let's go to a map. Oh wow!
What is it?
Wow,
Noctis Vale.
Noctis Vale. That's how you say it, Noctis Vale. So Ecuador. Oh, you're over there by the Galapagos Islands. Wow, it's real South America. You're like way Nicaragua, Venezuela. Damn, you're right above Peru. You're over there by Elliot. Elliot Rodriguez, our homeboy in Ecuador and sorry, Peru. He's Peruvian. You know Elliot, right? Ominous.
Elliot. You're talking
Elliot
guy from
Rodriguez.
ET?
Yeah, that's his name, Elliot too. But no, ominous. You don't know Elliot? He's a good guy, man. Check him out, ominous. He created Deathmonger
I think I've seen him before. I have to see his artwork. I know the Don.
yeah, that's Elliot's not Don. The Don Draw stuff. That's the studio. You talking about the studio? Don Draw stuff. That guy.
Yeah,
Omega Mission.
there's a guy named the
Omega
Don.
Mission. The
You're
big
always
Don.
on there. Oh, you're always on there.
Yeah. With the
I think you're always
Don.
on.
Yeah. With the big dong.
I think so. Wait, what happened last night? I mean, I can't believe I missed it. So you guys put the live stream on, and like this black man showed up and started scaring everybody. I'm so confused.
Oh, so Rex had a stream last night, and he let a random person on that he didn't know from the chat, and his name was Adam Sandler. That was, and I don't know why Rex let him on with the name Adam Sandler, because it's somebody who's gonna mess with you, right? And so he came on stream,
Okay.
and then he showed his face, and he looks like a regular guy. He's moving around or whatever, and then all of a sudden he played a video or showed a video of a black guy stroking himself, butt naked.
What?
Yeah,
What?
because he was trying to get
terrible.
he's trying to get Rex's stream struck, I guess.
Oh no! You know what? I saw something bad happen with Rex too. I was with him at it was like 4 in the morning, 4 or 5 in the morning, something like that, with this other guy talking about movies, and I was drawing. I think he was Irish. He looked like a Hobbit guy, but he's nice. He's Irish or whatever. He was talking to Rex, and then some guy just starts yelling stuff about Christianity and all this stuff, and so I'm like this, that, all this. Yeah, he starts yelling stuff, and I was like, oh my gosh. So that kind of happened. I don't know, something about Rex's stream.
Yeah, Rex gets some weirdos sometimes, man. Yeah,
I don't know why. I don't know what. Why did
haters gonna hate?
Why did it get directed to him?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, there's some
people
people
hate Rex. I don't. But
yeah, some people hate watch, man. There's hate watchers out there for real. There is.
What?
Yeah, people.
Omer, it wasn't you that got hacked, was it? Was it you? Somebody was complaining that somebody sent them a draw stream and they got hacked. I was like, what?
No, that wasn't me. It wasn't me. No, I did send out that thing with the Fusebox. His account got hacked. For Infinitel.
Yes.
No. So his Twitter account got hacked. So I did send a for the group.
Oh my god!
One of the groups about that, just to be aware, because they were sending out DMs and stuff. So.
And were they pretending to be somebody, or?
Yeah, they were pretending to be Fusebox or Hojo.
Oh.
No, I don't know. Fusebox or Hojo. I don't know. I can't remember who.
Wow.
One of those guys.
I think if
just
you
throwing out there
subscribe to, yeah,
making people aware.
I think if you subscribe to the X thing, I mean, I just did that recently. Maybe you get better hack protection from hackers. You know, I don't know.
I don't know. What do you mean? You lost me, buddy.
You know how X has the option where you can, become a member. You can go basic, premium. You pay money to get a check mark.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I did that recently, and I was like, oh, okay. And then I'm thinking maybe they give you like a choice to hack your account. They kind of help you to stop them from hacking you. The Elon Musk
I don't
thing.
know. I don't know. I do have a check mark. So
Do you? Oh, that means you pay for it.
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know you paid for it, Omar.
well, I paid like $70 during a Thanksgiving Friday sale. So it's good till next
70.
Thanksgiving. Yeah.
Oh,
it was on
wow,
sale.
the year thing. Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Yeah. But I
got the
didn't go
monthly
for the
thing.
full blast one. I just did the one up because I can't write articles. That's yeah.
I know.
Or get into
I was looking at that. You can get monetized and get money for posting,
if you do
but
that.
you have to have like 5 million views or something like that. I'm not
You got to pay
sure,
for the
maybe.
full account. Yeah. I thought about it, but I was like, no, I don't have that kind of money to blow right now.
Yeah,
I ain't got that kind of money to blow.
Blah 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 blah. I'm back.
All right, Rex is back. All right,
What?
you gonna kill this stream or what? Time to get out of here.
Yeah.
Time to
He
get
yelled out
outta
something about
here.
Shadowhawk. Uh-oh. Let me hide.
Hey, what? What happened?
Yeah, let's go around the room and Omer Glitch. Where can people find you?
You can find me always at Omer Glitch kicking booty. Please like, share, follow, and subscribe. You can find me at Omer Glitch or my website crochedesigns.com, and hit the bell so you get notifications of when we go live. And if Howler's out there, thank you for all you do, bud.
He's got a post-it note for everything. That's looking good, Raul.
Hey, I'm trying. Came in, tried to go full blast with the Devil Flyer. Didn't know how long the stream was going to run today. You can find me at Raul and T Drawings. I do a lot of the Rex art. I get inspired by it. I like it. It motivates me. You give the screen a little time to unblur itself, and then you kind of see how the creativity I got going there. Raul and T Drawings. You can see I do video games. I do drawings. So support Rex. That's what I'm here to do.
Well, I appreciate it, bro.
Yep.
I'm just one artist out of many that never considered myself a writer till I had to make a comic book, and started writing around 2017. Said, damn, if I don't think I'm a better writer than I am an artist. And we'll see when everybody gets their books. Thanks.
I gotta commend you for your setup. That's very cool. I just noticed your little man talks and everything moves around.
Yeah, that's different.
Yeah.
I've been progressing.
Using that OBS.
You guys push me to the max. You guys motivate me.
Gotta push it to the.
I'm trying. Was it you? Somebody tried
OBS,
to top me the night. Yeah, OBS.
Yeah.
But some guy tried to top me on what's his name? The Sappho stream. It was like one of his friends. He was like this bald avatar that could move, blink, tap dance, and I felt ashamed. I was like, my guy only bounces up and down.
Yeah.
I know.
Nice.
Yeah. Thanks for RJ coming on and showing us Project Orion.
Yeah, good to meet him too.
Looks like a cool campaign. Yeah, he was on when he was touting his trading card for the same thing. So I think that's pretty cool to kind of test the market. That's kind of what I did with the ash can. Yeah. And then as it gave me time to develop and everything, and I learned a lot from that first campaign. We made other things besides the book, attack them on the extra, but that taught me everything costs money, cuts into the profit when you do that. But I think so I wanted everybody to feel like they got a good deal. I know you were probably the last person to buy a copy of it. Were you satisfied when you got your ash can?
was very satisfied. Thank you for asking.
Yeah.
Very, very satisfied.
Did I send? I think I sent you original.
Yeah, I got a little piece of original art tank.
A head sketch from this campaign. So you're the first person and the only person to get a head sketch so far. But you did get original artwork if you back Devil Flyer, along with 6 a.m. stickers, some Omer Glitch, trading card, Apex Comics trading card, George Peter Gaddis, John Falandes. You get, but out of all the cards and stuff that you want to get that card that charter member card, because that entitles you to free stuff from now on. Those that I gifted on the last campaign with cards like Diaz Brothers, they didn't back the book, but the Ash can, but they got a gifted book. You'll also get a charter member card. So if you can't find the money to back Devil Flyer, even the digital tier for 15, for about 17 delivered to you, you can back the Ash can, and that makes you a charter member, and that entitles you to free stuff from now on in the mail from Momentum Comics. So I'm excited about the way we're going. Our next book is going to be The Unseen Art of John Buscema, and we've already got that in the works. And I think that'll be an exciting book and will propel us into, some more Devil Flyer stuff. So more Devil Flyer coming soon, just as soon as we get this John Buscema art book out of the way. And so, at the first of next year, like February or March, we'll launch Devil Flyer Zero and Momentum Unleashed Future Visions, where all the stories are told in the future. Sometimes it's the distant future. We've got a story that's 250 years in the future. And I've got stories that are not told in our future, but told in the past, but they're the character's future. Big difference. Like the death of Silver Boa takes place in his future in 1959, toward the end of his career, kind of like a Dark Knight story. We've got another future story told in the recent future with one of my ninja characters, female ninja characters, so sexy. And then we got some more sexy in there. It's going to be Midnight in the Roustabout story told in her future, old lady Midnight, but you'll see her when she was younger as well.
Ninja Zombie.
Ninja Zombie. Yeah, we've got some zombie characters. In fact, Bog is heavily into swamp zombies that he battles. And
I've been wanting to draw that Silver Boa character and the ninja chick. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah. Got to put some more sex appeal. So I need some more artists to draw, and we'll have. I know John Dillard's working on a 2-page spread for the book now, and as the paychecks comes in, the paychecks are going to go out to artists to finish the project. So, and to produce the standee, the tapestry, and everything else, the art book, the trading cards, So I'm excited to finally get to the printing part of it and the fulfillment part of it. RJ from Critical Blast will be fulfilling my campaign as well. And if RJ's tied in with it, like RJ's Orion project, it's going to show up, and it's going to show up in good condition. I hate it. You're paying a premium for these books and other objects, and there's no reason why they should be damaged in the mail. If they are, of course, we'll overprint and we'll replace them for free. Anyway, we're going to get out of here. Thank you, Raul, for coming in again. It's a dope looking Devil Flyer. Omer Glitch was one of the first artists to draw some fan art, if not the first. That's some debate.
Peace out.
Peace out and enjoy your weekend. Take care, all. And keep collecting.